Hey everyone, and welcome to PGN Live. Woo! It is a big day today. Gosh. Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. Let's go. I told you, today was coming. I told you we were going to have some big stuff, some cool stuff to go over. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Nintendo Switch 2 sales. Woo! Nintendo Switch sales. I love it. I love it. I'm going to contain some of this excitement until some of you come in here. You might be in here already. I don't know. But welcome on in. I am getting the pop-out chat ready and stuff like that. So it's taken a moment. But we'll no doubt have a good discussion today. I want to see if you are all as hyped as I am. Some people, by the way, do say, like, why are you so excited for a company's success? Well,
Quest brings back
I'm happy for people's happiness. For me, knowing that something is selling well and that I'm a part of it and that more people out there like something that I like means that there's more common ground of happiness and discussion for folks to discuss. It also means more sales for the company that I respect and that has brought me a lot of joy over the years. And when that's true, they're going to have more money in the bank to build better games. That in turn gives me more fun, takes more risks, brings back popular franchises, puts more effort into established IPs, expands a little more with like the likes of theme parks and toys and figurines and shirts, movies, TV shows, longevity of things for my kids, for the future, and so forth. So there's a lot of happiness to be had in seeing the success in others. Plus, I have personal friends that work there at Nintendo, so I'm happy for them. And for those that I don't know, just in general, satisfied. So there's a lot to it, you know? It's always a weird thing when I see people saying, why do you care so much, or why are you so happy to see a company succeed when you don't work there? Dude, just finding happiness in others' happiness. What's wrong with that? Anyhow, what's not wrong is this chat. Let's go. I see blue right up in here right away, coming to us from Mr. Roger Enyart with a $2 super chat, kicking off this stream the right way. So good to see. We're in the month of Valentine's. So we've got red right here. And Roger Enyart. Thank you so much for that awesome $2 super chat. By the way, I let a little bit of time go, and gifted memberships are back to that white belt $1 tier. I'm breaking YouTube's recommendation of keeping it at blue. Is it? I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see how today goes. We'll see how the upcoming week goes. Yesterday we had some new members join. We had Roger with some very generous donations yesterday, gifting 5 new members a membership, and I gifted 5 subscribers a membership. But normally that would have been like 40, you know, if you think of it that way. But it's okay. It's okay. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I gotta change this. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this isn't the one that I had from yesterday saved. Oh, shoot. The top February. Oh, wait. What happened to yesterday's save? Because Roger Enyart was already on here with the membership of 20. And if I'm not mistaken, Roger, were you not this one also? Or someone else was this one? AJ Rax? Ah, shoot. I forgot. Why is this, like, not the updated version? Well, trying to make it as accurate as I can. I'm going to have to go back and fix it later. For now, I'm going to put Roger as the top February Super Chatter because you are today's. But AJ Rax donated yesterday too, right? I will make it right. But for now, today's stream total is at $2. Roger, you did nothing bad. You only did good. I'm just in the top February membership section. That is you right now. And in the top February Super Chat section, I have it as you, but the document, I guess, didn't save from yesterday, and it might be AJ Rax, but I don't know. I will adjust it if need be. But anyhow, let's go to the top of today's lineup of folks that are in here and see what's up. Steak 1024 is in the house. Welcome, Steak. Crazy Scott is here. What's up? Pokemon Fan 34 is here. Hi there. Brooke Barnes 3772 says hi. Hi. Crazy Scott, you finally got that notification again? Heck yeah. Yvonne Francois is here. Good morning. Not John. Johan Nintendo is 24 days until Pokemon Day. That's right. We've got Pokemon Day coming up. And a Pokemon Presents probably right around there, correct? Speaking of correct things, Tabby Cat Games with the $5 super chat. Let's go. Now I think we can accurately go like this. We're gonna go Tabby Cat Games, boom, with the generous $5 super chat, bringing our stream all the way up to 7 already. What an excellent start. Thank you, Tabby. I'm going to read that comment in just a moment to Tabby Cat Games with the 5. I'm pretty sure we're less than 7 minutes in. Oh no, we are exactly 7 minutes in, and we have $7. Super cool. I did 5 right after Paul Gale Network did his 5 memberships. That's right. Which I do have you at that 5 times 4, 20. Yes, so that looks good. Tabby, let me read that. Brown belt is always worth it, y'all. If you subscribe, it's the way to go. Paul, thanks for all your support. Well, thank you, Tabby, and you're welcome. And if anybody is wondering, a lot of you are regulars here, but some might be new. What is Tabby Cat Games talking about? This brown belt tier? Well, there are multiple tiers on this channel. You've got your basic introductory tier for $1 a month. The content is free, by the way, but for $1 a month, if you wish to support the channel, that's the white belt tier. The blue belt tier is $4 a month, gets you some videos early, as the green belt tier gets you videos and shorts all early. The brown belt tier, what Tabby is in, gets your name highlighted in blue if you want. If not, you don't have to. And if you would like, one workout video every month catered to your needs. And then the black belt tier is $50 a month. That is something that is reserved for folks that, you want a live one-on-one workout session, you want a live one-on-one gaming session, you want a pool jump or something like that. That's your black belt tier, It's reserved for primarily exercise, but it could be something else, But Tabby and several others are in that brown belt tier, benefiting from that workout, enjoying that blue presence. But you're all welcome. So thank you all for being here. Maybe there is no tier that's right for you, and it's just, hey, subscription status. And that's all good. Nothing wrong with that. Your presence here is awesome already. Let me get back to the chat. Thank you again, Tabby. And thank you again, Roger. You'll be lurking while playing. Yeah, I was watching some of that Hollow Knight stream earlier. I hope you have fun with it. Nintendo's All-Stars in the house saying hi, everyone. It's been a while because I moved. I hope the move was going well. Was Nate the Hate wrong for the first time ever? No, because it's only Tuesday, which means, shoot, Real Brawny Pony Productions, we could get an announcement from Nintendo tomorrow morning saying, stay tuned for tomorrow's Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. Approximately 33 minutes in length, or something like that, you know what I mean? Scheduled for Thursday. Totally possible. Let's see. It's not the 5th yet. Yeah. Paul Gale, the Presents is on the 27th. Has it been officially confirmed? I know that Pokemon Day is the 27th, but I don't think they scheduled a Pokemon Presents. So one is expected based on leaks and past likelihood, going off of old data, that there will be one Friday, February 27th at 6 a.m. I think, by the way, have a Pokemon Presents on the 27th, even if it's a Friday. Whatever. You know, do your own thing. But do I know? No. I don't think anybody knows 100% for sure yet outside of the Pokemon Company and Nintendo, you know? But yeah, I guess it's pretty safe to say February 27th will be the Presents on Pokemon Day. What will Pokemon Day bring? Oh, man. A cool 30th anniversary montage, a special video, a look at the next gen Pokemon games, Gen 10 for Nintendo Switch 2. Could be some cool things. Paladin is in the house. Hi, Paladin. Good morning. Tsukino Ame is here. Hi there. Kongdonk69 in the house. A Peach video? That's true. Corey Bohm. Can we talk about how the Switch is the best-selling console with verified sales? Pretty much. Yeah. So, we will get into more of it. You know, Sony for the longest time had 155 million. I always knew it was higher. I used to have PlayStation 2 at 157.68. 157.67? I had Sony's PlayStation 2 at 157 point something. I could look back on what I had it at. Because I always knew it did sell more after the 155. It just, they didn't do a good job when they came up with their total of, this is how many PlayStations we sold. It's like, well, okay, the PS3 occupies more than PS2 for this section, and you've got PS Vita and stuff doing more than blah, 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 but PS2, how much? Surely it's more. So, pulling a little bit of data here and there, I was like, it's 157 point something. You know, then obviously last year, they came out and said 160. Why'd you take that long? How come you didn't go a little bit further and say 160.01 or 160.33 or 160.00? So is there a possibility that a year from now, Sony is like, actually it was 160.66, you know, possibly. I would just like it to be done Nintendo's way, dude. It's the best. They give you the place up to the 10,000s mark, which we are going to go over in a moment. But let me see who else is here. Make sure I greet you all. A CEO restating numbers off the cuff 12 years later is not good. Michael S. Gutmann is here. Corey Boehm, TCG. Yeah. Trading card game will pop up. Console. You have concerns about Nintendo Switch 2? You know, every video game company is at the end of the day a business, and a business needs money. Some businesses have very little interaction with their fans, with their audiences, and you just pay for the product and continue to move on. Do you have a really good association with the companies of the food groups that you buy, that you stock up in your refrigerator, or the electric or gas bill that you pay for? And you're like, well, maybe no, because they're not media-related entertainment companies. How about any fun shoe brands or clothing brands? Or what about, the streaming services you have, or the theater chains that you go to? What about the stores that you shop at with fun t-shirts or clothing? Probably a lot of them know. How about with your comic books or your music artists? What kind of interaction do you have at the end of the day with your sports teams and the venues that put on these events and how much they charge? Probably not a whole lot. But then you've got Nintendo that has multiple directs throughout the year, that comes out and has fun presentations, that spreads themselves out beyond just gaming, that makes good games, that are diving into making fun movies and theme parks. And with the cost of everything going up, so too will theirs. But the quality has always been solid to justify that price increase, that I'm really not concerned about Nintendo. I think they're doing great, in my opinion. As long as you never get complacent at the top, then you're okay. You continue to advance. Artisan James. With Super Smash Bros. Ultimate now at 37 plus million, I fully expect a Switch 2 edition to be announced. I like the sound of that. Coliseum and Gale of Darkness, yeah. How are they different than any other company? Says JoyCJ69. Yeah, all companies want money. It just some want money and do well to earn it, and others just want it and hope you buy into them blindly. Artisan James, by the way, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment has sold 1 million copies. Yes, it did. It's just not here because this is the first party list only. But yeah, you're correct. J Biggs, Mr. NY for Life is here. Hey, my Galeverse friends. Hey, J Biggs. Welcome. Corey Boehm, Pokemon Direct, Paul Gale of Darkness. that should be the name of the Direct on Pokemon Day. Paul Gale of Darkness. It'd be pretty sweet. Paul Gale using Peach in Paul Gale of Darkness. Go Peach! Go Mario! I Byzantium. Happy PGN Live. Oh yeah. Real Brony. Hey Paul, do you think the rumored General Direct will reveal the next batch of GameCube games, since we've only got 3 left of the original batch? And do you think Mario Party games will be included? There are some Nintendo GameCube Mario Party games that could end up coming over, so I don't think that at least one dropping in 2026 is unreasonable. And we do have some titles like Coliseum and Paul Gale Network of Darkness that still need to come out. Will they show up at this next General Direct? There's a decent chance. I think they should. Some more NSO games, perhaps. The original Super Smash Brothers, Donkey Kong 64. Those would be pretty cool. So maybe we'll see them sooner than later. Joyce J, hello. From now, even though earlier I said hi. Hello again, regardless. Let's see. Talking back and forth. Lots of conversation back and forth. You're all on a roll. I'm surprised how much amiibo Nintendo is continuing to make and release. Mario Galaxy ones, yeah. Super Mario Bros. Wonder ones, I guess they're still selling well, even at higher price points. People might not like it. But 11 years ago, $13 was worth more. $13 now would be selling things at a loss because the rest of Nintendo has had to move on to paying for higher prices for their workers, for their insurances, for their medical bills, for their commutes, the cost of water and power and gas in their buildings, in their employment salaries for their employees, their commutes, their cost of living, their rent, mortgage, etc. So if they were continuing to sell it at $13 and upping the quality, they'd be losing or making significantly less. So what do? Well, let's raise the quality, let's raise the size, let's raise the price for the times, and price reflected to how much we're putting in to still make a profit. Is 50 too much for an amiibo? Maybe, maybe not. I guess it depends on the functionality and just how big it is. I mean, you started getting into mini statue territory and not just little toy anymore. I think 20 is fine. I think 30 is okay if the amiibo is significantly bigger, heavier, more detailed than these old $13 ones, then 30 is all right. 40 is pretty expensive when you compare it to a game. It's 2/3 the cost of a game. That's why I did not buy the Street Fighter 6 trio at launch. I waited, and then I got, Kimberly, Jamie, and Luke after a little while, for like $12, $13, $8, something like that for those three. But if the 40 ones are big and beefy, so be it. Mini statues, understandable. But yeah, I'm glad that amiibo are still around. They're selling to a little bit of a different market than I think they originally did. Still to the same, but perhaps expanded. Maybe they lost some, but maybe they also gained some more that they didn't have before. Let's see. Nintendo sticks out though. Nintendo's probably amongst the least greedy video game companies that I could think of. Look at how affordable their online subscription service is. $20 for a year to play video games online. That gives you cloud save backup to 97% of your library. That periodically gives you full week trials of entire games. That gives you access to their online shop, in which that online shop has sales. Gives you a bonus discount on buying certain games after these games have had their week trials. And that's not including Tetris 99. And of course, all of the titles in NES, Sega Genesis, Super NES, and Game Boy for $20 a year. Or you pay $35 a year. Here were a lot of companies that are like, no, you cannot share your Netflix password anymore. No, you cannot share multiple HBO Max accounts anymore across the globe. Nintendo's like, no, here's the family plan. $35 a year. Go ahead and split it. $4.38 for you and your 7 friends. Do it. Don't not do it. Do it. That's very pro-consumer. That's very anti-greedy. Oh, what about expansion pack? $50 a year for solo. Okay, that's more expensive than $20, but you're getting Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's full DLC, Splatoon 2 full DLC, all of the stuff I mentioned earlier, Animal Crossing New Horizons, full DLC. Oh, and Nintendo 64, plus the upcoming Virtual Boy and Game Boy Advance and Nintendo GameCube. Oh, what about the family plan? 80. 80 is more than that 35, but once again, share it with your friends and your family. $10 a year per person to have online, to have cloud save data, to etc., etc., etc. How is that greedy? That's offering you a lot. How about the console itself? Here's a $450 device that is both completely a home console and completely a portable console, in which in the past, Nintendo sold you two different systems to give you two different experiences per generation to experience SNES and Game Boy, Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color, Nintendo GameCube and Game Boy Advance, Wii and DS, Wii U and 3DS. If you did not buy both, you only experienced some of the games that they had available, that they were producing themselves per generation. Now, I would say that owning both per gen were worth it because both were effectively developed for, but you had to buy both. Now you only have to buy one. And you look back at the prices, one Nintendo Switch is cheaper than both of those other systems. One Nintendo Switch 2 is for the most part cheaper than both of those systems. And Nintendo actually supports it more independently than Sony or Microsoft independently support their own. So Nintendo is perhaps the least greedy, in my opinion, of any video game company. I don't know. They came up with a voucher plan. They gave free internet for a year and a half on Nintendo Switch. They were the last ones to hold out on charging for internet in the first place. No, I think Nintendo is pretty darn solid of a company. Mic drop. Boom. I don't know. Let's see. Talking amongst yourselves. Console. Hey, Paul, do you have Zelda Steelbook? Zelda Steelbook. For what? I do have some collector's editions for Zelda. Which one are you talking about in particular? Coliseum and Paul Gale of Darkness may miss the direct and show up on Pokemon Day. That's a possibility. Steam can pull any game at any time and it'll just disappear from your library, like Sony has done with movies and TV shows from PS Store. GOG, at least for PC, gives you an offline installer to keep your titles. Do you think the third Super Mario Bros. Movie will be called Super Mario Sunshine Movie, and it'll be about Bowser Jr. getting revenge on Mario by framing him by polluting Isle Delfino and that stuff? Anything's possible. Hard to say what direction they're going to go with the movie, you know? I thought that it was a little bit safe to assume that the new movie was going to be called the Super Mario World movie. Or the Super Mario Brothers movie too, but I was leaning towards the Super Mario World movie. And we got Galaxy. Could they go back to World? Maybe. Do they go with Galaxy 2? Possibly, but I don't think so. Did they do Odyssey? Perhaps. Do they do Sunshine or something completely new, something that the next game is going to have? Do they just go universe? Oh, possibly. I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot of perhapses, you know what I'm saying? A Luigi's Mansion movie, maybe. Small Little Man is here, by the way, saying hello, hello. Nerdy Paul is here, hello. Steam and Sony are not all high and mighty and not being greedy or consumer friendly as people make them out to be. 30 is okay. The Construct Amiibo 50. Corey Baum, yeah. The Mega Yoshi Yarn Amiibo that was exclusive to Toys R Us, which is currently the most valuable sealed amiibo to date, released 40 many years ago. Yeah, that was a good one. I still have that Mega Yarn Yoshi. I like it. It's a really cool one. Enrique95, hey Paul, will you be checking out Dragon Quest VII? Maybe. I got the early access because of time. My day's off today. I prefer physical, but sometimes digital works better with time/work schedule. I hope that you enjoy the heck out of it. It's no doubt going to be a good game. If I have time, I might check it out. I'm still playing through FF7 Remake Intergrade, even though I already beat it 5 years ago. I just like it so much. I'm playing through it again now on Nintendo Switch 2. And Ghost of Yotei. So I'm busy enough. I'm still looking forward to much of 2026's gaming, but I'm like, I don't need 3 dozen titles that I want to buy this year because I'm probably not going to be able to have enough time to play them all, you know? So I'm okay if we have slightly fewer releases. Something I don't get about the greedy Nintendo narrative is where's the greed going? They are on the low end of shareholder payouts and executive salaries compared to other companies. See, I don't think Nintendo's greedy. I mean, you don't have moves like Mr. Iwata taking his salary and reducing it, and other Nintendo figureheads reducing their salary when the company was not delivering big numbers on Wii U, and instead of cutting all of their employees and letting people go, they took their own salary cuts. That's not a greedy move. People don't apply the same value to Nintendo games, hence why they think the company is being greedy. Nintendo games back in the day did have a different sales trajectory. Eventually, they hit Player's Choice. Eventually, they hit Nintendo Selects. Now they stay here, but periodically throughout the year, they do go on sale, oftentimes dropping 33% or more. So it's a different strategy. But they still offer sales. It was proven that Sony made third-party companies not put games on other consoles, aka Nintendo. I remember that. I know what you're referring to. I remember getting the gold Mario Amiibo exclusive to Walmart for $13. Still have it sealed, and I think its price has gone up over the years. I have that gold Mario and a metal Mario that's like a silver one. I have both of those. You rarely hear people complain about Sony's prices. What you hear people complain about is whatever is doing well, because there's more conversation about what's doing well and more people start chiming in. Gosh, by the way, we've got 52 people watching now. Big thank you to 52 of you being here. I appreciate it. How many likes do we have while this is going on? 21 likes. 52 people, 21 likes. We're almost at 26 likes, which would be the halfway point. But let's go. We're getting there. Thank you all so far for being here today. Oh, let's see. NSO plan is worth it. Heck yeah, it is. With Sony, there's a double standard when people complain. Yeah. Okay. Break it down. You know it. I will. Man, there are a lot of people in the chat today. I am working my way down, reading everything, saying a lot out loud, but not all, because some is back and forth to y'all. Do we forget a Sony exec told PS3 fans to get another job to afford PS3 when it came out? I remember J-Big's Mr. NY for Life. I remember that. That's a funny one. Nerdy Paul says, I think Nintendo gets more criticism on pricing because of the erroneous mindset people still hold that they only make kids games and so they don't see their value. Yeah. That's a good point. This Inferno, all Nintendo grifters are eating their nails right now. That's true. Nintendo did so well. And you know who said it's probably going to be at 17.3 million? Or 17.25, I think was my final call, if I'm not mistaken. Me! You know who said it's probably going to be at 155.3 million? Me! You know who said Nintendo Switch 2 has now passed Wii U in early December? No way it did. No way. Me! You know who said, you know what? It's already past 15 million, folks. Oh, no way it did. No way it did. Me! I just want to shout, woo! Woo! Ha ha ha! Heck yeah! You know what? That gets me hyped. That gets me hyped. Gets me so hyped that I'm doing one of these. Bam! And then it gets me so hyped, I'm going to do one of these. And it gets me so hyped. I'm going to... What else am I going to do? I'm going to do one of these. 5 gifted memberships in the chat because I'm wooing today. Because it feels good to be right. You're not supposed to doubt the numbers, guy. Don't people know by now? Don't people know by now? You don't doubt the numbers, guy? Come on now. Come on. Man. Yeah. I'll take that win. Let me read some more in the chat. I want Mario Teaches Typing the movie. That would be awesome. I remember Mario Teaches Typing. That was fun back in the day. It was. Nerdy Paul says, what is everyone's favorite game released on Switch 2 so far? I have been quite a Kirby fan in recent years, so I'm going to say Air Riders. The game is pure chaotic joy. That's awesome, Nerdy Paul. My favorite Nintendo Switch 2 game so far is... I'm going to go still with Donkey Kong Bonanza, although, dude, did I love Metroid Prime 4 Beyond? Am I continuing to love Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which I'm a little bit behind, but that's because I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate lately, which I also love, as do I love Street Fighter 6, though it's a little bit older, to be fair, and Split Fiction, and Hades 2, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Man, there's a lot to love on Nintendo Switch 2 right now. Kirby Air Riders is also great, as is Mario Kart World. Man, we're in good times. And we've got 63 people watching. Almost Nintendo 64 people watching. For those of you that are new here, if you didn't already know, we give out an eShop card on the stream when our stream gets to a total of
Switch to Turbo
$128 in super chats and or gifted memberships. That's how we roll. So if we get there today, in which we're already at 7, we will be giving out a $10 gifted membership, $10 eShop card for free. Basically, 128 gets donated in, 10 goes right back to the community, and we do that every stream. Also, by the way, I'm putting this as the pinned message because this would be a nice boost. Speaking of nice boosts, boom! Pokemon Fan 34 building up the hype today. Pokemon Fan 34 with an awesome 5 gifted memberships, bringing us up to 12 today. Heck yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I did 10 earlier, so I got to update this number. Pokemon Fan 34, thank you so much for that generosity. Talion Infernus, Having Hope 5, The T-Man, Zero Suit Brandon, and Soa Murphy were the 5 recipients. Let's go. Who were the 5 from me that I gifted? We've got Almas E. Algorithms, there you go. Small Little Man, Jared Dallin, iByzantium, and CBH4. Woo! Heck yeah. 65 people watching now. We passed the Nintendo 64 amount of viewers. How about likes? 39 likes. Okay, we're past the halfway point. That would be like 32, so we're good. I gotta get to chat. We haven't even actually gone over the numbers yet. And we need to. It's just so many people popping in here today because today's a big day. You got a lot of little people go, I thought it didn't do 15 million. I thought it did 14 million. No, it didn't do 14 million. It did 17,370,000. No, I'm not frozen. I'm just looking off in the distance. 17,370,000 in less than 7 months, folks. That's beautiful right there. Oh, but I thought it was only going to do 14. No! 17,370,000. That's power. That's never been done before. Oh, but that's shipped to retailers, not sold to customers. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the way the world works. That number always comes after. It's not like, oh, but they're not going to sell. They're not going to sell those 2,370,000. They're all going to stay in the back of those warehouses at Walmart, Best Buy, Target, Amazon warehouses, GameStop. Yep. They're not going to sell those 2 million. Dude, they're going to sell them, okay? It takes several weeks. It takes a couple of months. Nintendo's rolling. They're doing well. They're doing better than well. Don't let anybody poo-poo rain on your parade that Nintendo is doomed or anything like that. Fear-mongering is not going to work here. I am a big Nintendo fan, yes, but I will also tell you the facts. And if something is doing well, I will beat my chest and tell you. If something's not doing well, I'll say, here's the facts. Let's break it down and see why, and see, is it as bad as it really is? Is it being manipulated to make it look worse? How do we overcome and get better? But I will tell you the truth regardless. Do I like a Nintendo that's succeeding? Yeah. Will I still enjoy a Nintendo that's not doing well, like during the Wii U era? Heck yeah, because the thing still had great games that I was having fun, but I wasn't denying the fact that, it's not doing well. So I will give you both. My perspective on my entertainment coming out of the system, and the reality that it's not doing well. Now on Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch, completely different ballgame. It is doing as well out there as I am feeling it in here. And that is major, major success. Ugh, let's get back. Let's get back to business. You get me talking numbers, you get me hyped up. Nintendo Game Dude. Hey, Paul. Just stopping by to say I appreciate all the work you put into your Today in Gaming history. They're all good. Thank you so much, Nintendo Game Dude. I am happy to hear that. I appreciate it. Blonky19. I play about 5 hours of games a week, so it takes me a long time to beat games. I hear that. YNMO6. I hope the Switch will sell at least 5 million consoles this year. 5 million? I think that's too much to ask for. I don't think it's going to do 5. I like your number, but I don't think it's going to do 5. But I'm still on the train of, by summer 2027, it's going to do 160. If the tariffs and RAM prices make the Nintendo Switch go up and stuff like that, I still am positive on, by end of 2027, we see 160. Unless if Nintendo ceases production, I don't see why it wouldn't, Okay, let's get into this. By the way, you, Mike, and Nintendo Prime all pronounce my name wrong. You all pronounce it like Brawny when it's actually pronounced Pony. But with a bro. Brony. Okay. Not Brawny. Real. That makes more sense because Brony and Pony would rhyme. So, Real Brony Pony Productions. I got it. Real Brony. That totally makes more sense that it would rhyme, but I didn't know if that was a thing or not. But I got it. Andres, 9496, saying, Switch 2 for the win. Heck yeah. Ifty Cent, welcome. Get those likes up. We have 56 in the chat, only 22 likes. Dang, I am behind in reading because we're at 75 in the chat now. Woo, yeah. And we've got 45 likes. Let's go. To me, offering another option, Okay. Talking. Wish that they had the Switch Online voucher still, yeah. it would be nice if they had a new thing, you know, like no longer do they have the vouchers, but they have something else to replace it that's maybe not as good of a deal, but still something. I'd like to see something like that. Snowy Day UK. Oh, you are Andres9496. That's cool. Welcome, welcome. We need Nintendo 64 likes. Heck yes, Crazy Scott, we need it. Michael S. Gutman. The only thing that's Sony, but they do give you 400 big games a lot. PlayStation Plus, good deal. That's good. What's up? Do you like Player Essence? Heck yeah, Dynamite 1776. Do I like Player Essence? He's an IRL friend and an online friend and an overall cool guy, good streamer, good content creator, good friend, good buddy. I like Player Essence. OJ is legit. It seems people don't see Nintendo as AAA company. Nintendo is as AAA as it gets. They have done so much for the industry in the last 40 years, for crying out loud. D-pad, analog stick, shoulder buttons, diamond layout, rumble technology, touchscreen technology, 3D stereoscopic vision technology, motion controls, battery saves, 4-player out-of-the-box controller setup, wireless controller with RF technology instead of infrared signals thanks to the Wavebird. Like, dude, Nintendo is as AAA as you get. Come on now. Some of you not a fan of PlayStation Plus, some of you still. Okay. Hey everyone, I'm so sad Nintendo Switch 2 sales are absolutely horrible. Haha, hey Boo Mini. Yeah, anything but. When is the Direct getting announced? A somewhat safe guess is tomorrow morning, and that it drops on Thursday. But we'll see. Hey Paul, says Morgan Stern 7. Which game in February might you buy? Ooh, I already have Resident Evil Requiem pre-ordered. I have specifically, speaking of games that I'm going to be so behind to play, I've got the Generation Pack pre-ordered. So that's something that I'm getting in February. I hesitate with DQ7. Yeah, that's another one that I know would give me a lot of good hours. Yakuza 3, RE9 Requiem is a must-buy for sure. Crazy Scott, if I didn't say it earlier, bam! Member for 4 months in that PGN white belt here. Welcome and thank you. Blanky, so hyped I'm going to jump in the pool. I might, Blanky. I might. Enrique dropping that good ballers emoji. Roger, and you're saying, I feel good. I know that I would now. Good feeling, right? Yup. I love that Nintendo even lowballed their sales projections. I knew that thing was a surefire, bona fide hit that it was going to happen. Gosh almighty. Rewind to 2024 before we even knew that the thing was going to be called Nintendo Switch 2. I said, because I was being safe, and I was right in the end, Nintendo Switch 2, I can see selling as many as 22.5 million units from the time it launches through 1 year. I didn't know the date, but I stuck to that word, which meant, from June 5th of 2025 through June 30th of 2026. And I bet you that I'm probably going to be pretty darn close, because as of right now, 22.5 is less than 5 away. You mean to tell me that you don't think it's going to sell 4.9 million units in the next freaking 6 months? Come on now. PGN's going to be right again. It could very well top my projection. Come on now. Come on now. They projected 15 million in the first year, achieved it in 7 months. Boom! Heck yeah. Joyce, all hail Paul Gale Network, the numbers god, first of his name, house of statistics, breaker of numeric madness. I like that. Thanks, Joycey. 50 Cent 8. Bonanza, definitely the crown jewel of Switch 2 right now. That's my favorite game on the system. Mm. Is it my most played? No. I think Street Fighter 6 is my most played. Street Fighter 6 is amazing also. I can't wait for stuff like Injustice 3, by the way. I'm a bigger fan of Street Fighter than I am Mortal Kombat. But I like Mortal Kombat a lot. And Injustice is different than Mortal Kombat, but tends to play comparably with differences. But I'm really looking forward to Injustice because, one, I'm a big fighting game fan. Two, I'm a big DC fan. I love Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Flash. I love that whole universe. Three, I can't wait for another day and date, awesome looking game from NetherRealm Studios on Nintendo Switch 2, right up against PS5, Xbox Series games, and for people to be like, oh my gosh, the real people are going to be like, dude, this looks amazing. This next gen, only for Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox Series, and PlayStation 5, and Steam, I guess, fighting game, coming out day and date on all three platforms, not a staggered release, looks incredible, with awesome moves and big ol' fight scenes and swooping camera angles and a legit story, you name it, and it's stunning. And I could take this Nintendo Switch 2 version and play it portably on the go. And then the fake ones are going to go up, 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 up. Hold on. Hold on. Superman's missing a strand of hair on the Nintendo Switch 2 version. Up, up, up. That's it. That's it. Up, up, up. That version. Up. I think that was a 1080p texture right there on the Flash's symbol instead of 4K. Your system can't even do the Flash's symbol in 4K. That's what some people are going to do. And it's going to be ridiculous. And all the real ones are going to be enjoying Injustice 3 on Nintendo Switch 2 as equally as they would on another system, knowing, yeah, this system that's this big isn't as powerful as a system this big. But it's close enough that 95% of the world wouldn't know the difference. That 95% of the world would probably say, I'm going with this one because I can play it at home and on the go. That's 2-in-1 deal. Can't wait for Injustice 3. That's just an example, by the way. You know, I did ask Ed Boon a couple of times about Injustice 3, teasing like, you could tell me about Injustice 3, and I won't tell anybody, but not pressing him, not getting like real information. Like, yeah, it's coming out this date, Paul, or something, nothing like that. Oh man, the future's good. The future's good. Enjoy the game. Enjoy all of gaming. Let's go. You know what I enjoy? I enjoy all of the support today. 75 watching now. Woo! 52 likes up in here. Double. Woo! Thank you all. All in the first 53 minutes. And we gotta go over the real numbers. I'm still just trying to catch up to the chat. And we've got $12 dono in the stream. We've got new members. This is big. This is big. P. Chalice 1. What's good, Paul Gale Network? What's good, P. Chalice? Welcome on in. Good to see you here. Loud Boys. Next we'll hit 20 or 25 million. Yeah, they're gonna. I said, if Nintendo does, I gave a range, if everyone remembers, 16 to 17.5. If they're on the lower end of that 16, I still think that hitting 19 by March 31st is realistic. If they're on the higher range of that 17.5, being the highest that I saw, then they're like definitely in it, because that's 1.5 million away. I was like, probably 17.25, 17.2 and a quarter, something like that. So I was like, 1.75 million. You're looking at 600,000 per month for the next 3 months, dude. You're gonna see close to 20 million by March 31st. It's gonna be amazing. And for Nintendo Switch, that thing's gonna be like, 155.8 million or something like that. Hold on, we've got some sketches of harmony hype in here. Sketches of harmony dropping the 5 gifted memberships. I'm glad you're able to make it to the stream, sketches of harmony. Thank you so much for that generous $5. Woo! Dustin Townsend, Tigerusus, P. Chalice, who is in here right now, Sweet Tea, that's me, and Coradon 785. Oh, we've got to update this. We're getting a lot of gifted memberships today. I like it. That's another 5, and we're at 17. 15 new members have hopped on today. I like it. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, hold on. I am trying to get to the chat. This is... Now I see... I mean, I have seen before... how out of control Nintendo Prime, Nate, and his streams get, and OJ, Player Essence, how his streams get. When it's like, I cannot read everything. And these guys have 170 to 320 people live. It's difficult to read everything if it's not tagged to you or super chatted in. Here I am with 75, and you're all on fire today, and it's taking me longer than normal, and it already takes me a decent amount of time in the first place to get to everybody. So I see more and more what it's like. What I also see more is Boom Mini with another contribution to today's stream. Heck yeah! Boom Mini 5606. Boom! With a 5. Helping us out. Bam! Helping us out. Boom! Thank you so much, Boom Mini. Fantastic. Giving a membership to Davey, Manuel, Dr. Smooth, Cody WB, and Smorgasbord. Thank you so much, Boom Mini. Tabby Cat Games, Pokemon Fan 34, Sketches of Harmony, Boom Mini, Roger Enyart. Thank you all so much for the generosity today. And to everybody being here. 75 people watching, over 52 likes. Let's go. Let me try to read through the comments. It's funny because I know I'm behind, and then I read a comment of one of yours that's like, oh, that was probably 5 minutes ago. But I'm working on it, folks. Can't wait for Call of Duty on Switch 2. Andres, you know, that would be a big one if it shows up this Thursday. Some people will be up. Yep. That pistol should be shining a little bit more over there, having a reflection of the bad guy's face in it. And most of the people will be like, dude, I'm just enjoying Call of Duty once again on a Nintendo platform, being able to take it from the dock portably, Joy-Cons on the side, with a friend. That's the reality. Scrolling, reading. Let us all take a moment to appreciate the Switch and what it did for revitalizing gaming. Yes! I was hoping Paul caught my comment, LOL. I don't know if I caught it or not, Joycey, because I'm reading this one now, but which one? Oh, about that. See how I'm behind? I caught your comment. It just took a while to get to. 10 out of 10 impression. Only 3 million-ish didn't pick up Mario Kart World. Oh, that's another one that I didn't brag about, but I said Mario Kart World is officially at 10 million and might be at 15 million by the end of the year. Did it hit 15? Not quite. But did it get really darn close? Freaking heck yeah, it did. Heck yeah, it did. 14.03, dude. Like, don't question the numbers. someone clip that? I'm not sure what thing I did. The Rock says, oh, the whole thing when I said it doesn't matter? Yeah, that was pretty funny. They can moan all they like, but the 17 million is only selling, but the sell-through numbers are excellent as well. Absolutely. JM Powers 83, hi Paul and everyone else. Boom. Boo Mini with a question. That's a good question. Are you concerned about the future of Metroid? No. I will get into that in a moment, but first, hold on. Hold on, we got some more greenery in here. What's the greenery? Roger, and you're in the house. Back in the house. He never left. But now, he did. A generous $10 gifted. Boom! Woo! Thank you, Roger. How excellent it is to see that support on a day like this. Today might be the biggest, most important stream ever. I mean, sure, things on a personal matter like my 20th anniversary stream on YouTube, that's important to me. My 5,000 mark on YouTube / celebrating my 42nd birthday, that's important to me. But the sheer amount of people in here right now, the hype that is filled in the Nintendo community on the eve of a Nintendo Direct announcement, the day after Nintendo just dropped mind-blowing numbers from their fiscal report, there are probably a lot of new people in here. There actually are a lot of new people in here whose names I don't recognize. So, for the folks that are getting gifted memberships today that are popping into their email and then that are coming on stream, big day for folks to see what are we all about here on PGN Live. For folks watching now, hey, I just got to get the membership, or hey, this guy's spitting facts. Welcome. This is how we roll here. It's a cool community. You're all surrounded by good people, and I love seeing this go down. And this is just a hype day to be talking. Getting back to Boo Mini's question, no, I'm not concerned for Metroid. Metroid has never sold all that well. I mean, after the first Metroid, Metroid Prime, whoop, Metroid Dread, whoop. Yet Nintendo has never abandoned the franchise. They put Samus Aran in the first Super Smash Bros. Game and never have stopped since then. They released multiple Samus Amiibo. They brought back a port from the Game Boy and put it on the 3DS. They brought us a remastered of Prime 1, scrapped development of Prime 4 to make it better, brought us Metroid Dread, and I'm sure they've got stuff cooking. They were at one time negotiating with Epic to have Samus in Fortnite, which didn't happen, but it was an attempt. They're not abandoning our girl. Samus will return. How fitting. Samus will be back. She'll have more games. Metroid's future, though I don't know the cadence of release, right? I'm sure we're going to get more Metroid games sooner than later. Ocarina of Time remake will sell another 17 million. I like the sound of that, Boom Mini. I think Star Wars Galactic Racer will be coming. I like the sound of that. I was talking about that the other day, Loud Boys. Wouldn't the Switch 2 Pro be out by then? Maxim Burn? Hi, having Hope 5, by the way, if I didn't say hi earlier. Maxim Burn. So Nintendo Switch had a light version 2 years later, and then an OLED version another 2 years later. I could see potentially a light on Nintendo Switch 2 coming out this November, which would be a year and a half later, which Nintendo has had that kind of proximity between stuff like a Game Boy Advance, a Game Boy Advance SP, a DS Lite in the past. So it's possible, but I don't know about a Pro version, like within a year. An OLED version? Maybe. An OLED Lite version? Maybe. 50 cents. If they drop the Switch 1 price by 50 to 100, they'll reach it easily. A Nintendo Switch price drop would definitely help. Dustin Townsend, the Nintendo hating videos are extinct today. Yeah, nobody's got anything to complain about. The only thing people can complain about is Metroid, and I will get into that too. The bigger Pulse channel get, the harder reading chat will get. Yeah, it's true. I can see that, but I will always make my best attempt. If Switch 2 gets a Pro, it'll be great. Shout out to OJ. Heck yeah, 50 Cent. Do you think the next Mario Party game will be a sequel to Superstars that brings back the GameCube boards? Maybe. Root Gurnier Maher, and they'll probably release a Switch 2 Lite this year to go along with Pokemon. A Switch 2 Lite alongside a Pokemon, dude, would be an amazing pairing this holiday season. It would be tough to top that. Nintendo Switch 2 is going to destroy 2026. I'm happy with how good Bonanza sold. Me too. It's going on 5 million. Hard truth. If Nintendo didn't save the console gaming, there would be no console gaming. True. Is there going to be a direct on Thursday? Quite possibly, but we don't know yet. Kong Donk. Do you have a blue sock in your drawer? Imagine using that as a blue monster puppet to illustrate the doomers and gloomers. Maybe. I thought Player Essence was cool until I said I wish they spent more on Pokemon. Dynamite. I mean, I like Player Essence, but what did he say? He said, like regarding how Pokemon is being handled. I mean, everyone's got a different take. You know what I mean? I wasn't there to hear what exactly was. Just hope to see Digimon or Code 2. Dustin Townsend revealing the next 3D Mario Zelda will sell 5 million. Yeah. Got comments. I've been into Arkham series. Have you played Gotham Knights? You know, Michael Gutmann, I bought Gotham Knights on super sale like a year ago for $5. Haven't opened it yet. I feel bad. I want to. I like the Arkham games. I love Batman. I love DC. I haven't opened Gotham Knights. I heard it's not the best, but I heard it's cool enough. I'm sure I'll like it. Speaking of things I like, hold on. Wait. We got some new stuff here. Where am I? Pokemon Fan 34 with 5 gifted members. I think that's not it, though. I think I saw a couple of things light up. Am I not mistaken? Hold on a second. I will not miss anybody's generosity. Pokemon Fan 34, huge thank you again for gifting, this time to Double Dead Cat, S. Bjorgwedge, Questside, Matthew Williott, and Nate ESQ. Hold on, that's 5 right there. AJ Rax 0440 with the 5. I knew I saw that cool looking paperclip when I was scrolling down. Big thank you to AJ Rax 0440. Boom! With the 5, bringing us up to 42, bringing this up to, that's kind of nice that this is working in sync with one another so far. Because so far today, no super chats. No, one super chat from Roger. Everything else has been gifted memberships, which means that today in this stream, we already have 40 new members that joined this community. Thank you so much. Who got these 5 from AJ Rax? Well, Sky Sword Alyssa, Kuki Pata, Knack 511, Why Not Jay, and RC Young 86. Heck yeah! Thank you, AJ Rax. I appreciate it. Wait, Boo Mini, did you send more? Boo Mini, did you send it again? You did! Boo Mini with another 5. That makes you at 10. So we gotta add it up to here. Boom. Boom. Yeah, if I'm incorrect, by the way, don't let me be. I want everyone to get their proper shout out. Thank you, Boo Mini. Make that 45 new members today. Woo! Lemmy Productions, Kilo Skunk, Zombie King, Mr. Tech Guy, and Super Sam Gaming were the recipients of Boo Mini's very generous 5 this time around. Also, I don't always say it, but if y'all are watching and are enjoying the stream and didn't already hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. I mean, we already have 74 people watching now and 57 likes, so that's a very good ratio of likes to how many are watching. But that means there's got to be at least 17 people here that are watching that haven't yet liked. Now, if it is because you just not liking the stream, okay, I guess I understand. But if you're liking the stream and you just didn't think to like, I'd appreciate clicking that like button because it is going to boost up the stream and get more people's attention to get more people into this awesome community. Speaking of awesome, we got more green up in here. Ash! A different Ash. Ash CN5CR. Welcome to the PGN White Belt tier. That counts. That is 48. We got 48 here. Boom. And then we've got to get Ash in here. Ash CN5CR with the $1 welcome to Paul Gale Network. Thank you for joining. That's awesome. It's great seeing people get memberships. It's also great seeing people, self-subscribe, But super cool, super cool. I missed Boo Mini's 5. Okay, I did, and then I found it. So I think I'm good now. I hope. Jeez Louise, let me scroll back up. We're at 79 watching. Have we had 80 before? I don't know. This is probably going to be the biggest stream that we've done, I think. Just the other day I was talking about we've had 72 before, but I don't know if we've had 80. If we see that little number hit to 80 watching now, I think that might make this the biggest stream ever. I could be wrong. We might have hit 80 before also, but I don't know. Because it's not often that we hit 70s, So 80 would be pretty awesome. Okay, let's see. What I am most looking forward to on Switch 2 is finding out what Monolith Soft are working on. They are the masters at getting the most out of hardware, and I love Xenoblade. You know what would be cool? Hey, Monolith Soft? Yeah? Can you work with us on making a new Pokemon game? Sure, Game Freak. Let's go. A big, nice, smooth operating world from Monolith Soft. Let Game Freak go ahead and create these new Pokemon and make them awesome. Give us a story. Give us an online 4-player co-op mode so that you could play through the game like you would a cartoon and have created avatar characters so that you could run around like Ash, Misty, and Brock and go on adventures and have some moments where Team Rocket comes in and stuff like that, or whatever bad guy group you're going to create. Split off. Have journeys, have team-ups, have dual battles. Light puzzle elements. Navigate the sea, soar through the sky, dig through the ground. Let's get him some little bit of DK Bonanza-like smashing through the dirt and mountainsides with the likes of Graveler or riding on the back of an Onyx through some mountains. Dude. Pokemon has some of the greatest potential of any video game series there is. They stick to a somewhat safe formula because they know it works. They don't rock the boat. They do once in a while venture out, and then we do get things like Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Coliseum and Pokken Tournament, Pokemon Rumble. We get stuff like that. But we could get even more. And I think we eventually will. Here's some food for thought. There was a 2-year gap between the release of Pokemon Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon, and Pokemon Sword and Shield. It went 2017, 2019, right? Something like that. And then a 3-year gap between Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, because that came out 22. Now we could be looking at a 4-year gap between Scarlet and Violet and Next Gen. 4 years, longer development cycle. I'm feeling good about Gen 10. What I'm also feeling good about is this orange coming from Shy Guy Incorporated saying, "Have a beautiful day, everyone." Well, that's a beautiful day indeed, Shy Guy Incorporated, because that super chat is the first orange we've gotten today. We don't see orange very frequently around here, so I am super grateful for that. That also gets you up here in the top spot, tied with Roger as one of the tops of the month per individual stream. Out of nowhere. Thank you so much, Shy Guy Inc. I hope you have a beautiful day as well. I really appreciate the positive vibes, the kind comment, your financial help to the channel. It means a lot to me. Thank you, thank you. Have a great one too. I am so hyped. There is nothing better, I'm telling you, than talking good video game talk with good people. Like, video games are my number one thing to talk about. Video games and martial arts. Teaching martial arts, helping build up a community, helping empower people, feeling good about themselves, better about themselves, establishing group camaraderie amongst folks. That's some of the stuff that I live for. Talking video games and Nintendo and cool stuff and numbers and hype of Mario and Zelda, that's something that I love. Right now, obviously, we're doing the latter. We're doing one of my two favorite things. Because for me, video games and martial arts, they've run parallel like my whole life, So this is fun. And when we have extra cool things to talk about, it makes it that much more fun. Thank you, Shy Guy Inc. Have a great one as well. Whew. Can I even get back to the conversation and see where we left off? J Views, but Nintendo is doomed. No way, Jose. Do you think that we'll get a new Smash Bros. Anytime soon? Anytime soon? I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say this year, but I think we'll get one this generation. If we get one this year, I'm leaning a lot more towards like a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Nintendo Switch 2 edition with improvements and such. Not necessarily new characters either. And then maybe like a Nintendo Switch 2 only Smash Bros. Game come 2027? If that's like the fall big November game, that'd be 2.5 years into the life. That'd be alright. Even like an April 28 would be cool, because that is still like, 2 years, 10 months. That's not bad. Charles Trudell, did you think you would even underestimate the real numbers back in December? I know I did. I was being a little bit safe with saying, folks, just call it 16.75. That's halfway in between my estimate, but I'm looking at 17.2. I'm being a little bit more optimistic. And some folks said, 18, Paul, 18. I was like, I don't want to be a downer, but I don't think 18. I would love it, Shoot, I would love 17.8, but I don't think it's going to be at the top of my thing. I think it's going to be in between plus a bit. I'm very happy, though. DC's currently busy getting their characters on US quarters. You know what was cool that I missed out on? The DC stamps, like the anniversary of Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman. I wish I had those stamps. I would have used some, but I would definitely have saved others, you know? Okay, comments. Boom, 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 boom. Now I'm reading Sketches of Harmony saying, hey, Paul and everyone, loving the energy in here. Heck yeah. And J Views saying, let's go. Heck yeah. Clearly, Sketches, I got your super chat or the gifted memberships before this comment, but thank you again. Joycey, random. I finally unlocked terraforming in Animal Crossing New Horizons after restarting my island. I'm about to become a madwoman. Waterfalls everywhere. Yippee! That's cool. That terraforming really added a lot to the game. You can make your own Stranger Things section and have 3 waterfalls. Let's see. Nobody can outgift Bama. Having Hope 5? Oh, I've seen Bama Hut on Nintendo Prime streams just go bonkers with, like, here's 20 gifted members, here's another 20, here's another 20, here's 50, here's 100 super chat, here's 100 super chat. And then you got like Venatus and Bama Hut going back and forth sometimes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what a wild display of support. Yeah, I've seen some of those Having Hope 5. Those were pretty cool. They're always cool. John Doe Juggalo, good afternoon. Good afternoon. If I didn't say hi earlier, you do have to semi-lurk for a bit. No problem, Michael S. Gutman. Hang out and listen and enjoy, hopefully. Can't wait for Tamagotchi Life. It will be my goatee for 2026. That's cool. Tsukino Ame. It's coming out soon. But Resident Evil 9's hair. People will still complain. I wish they would have put an older collection of Call of Duty games. We could possibly. You caught it, yeah. LOLs, it's great. It helps Paul out. Yes, thank you. Steak says, Paul, would love to see someone in the chat. Would love to see someone come into the chat and say, but where's the Switch 2 seller on a day like today? Oh, you mean one of the quickest selling consoles ever? Uh-huh, yeah. All of the games have been a Switch 2 seller. Everything is. Mario Kart World, Pokemon Legends Z8. Do you know that Pokemon Legends Z8 is a 12 million seller in a freaking month and a half of being out? Sorry, 2.5 months of being out. Now that's split, but still amazing. Manuel, yo, I got a gifted membership thanks to the person who gifted it. Well, you're welcome, Manuel. I'm not sure who gifted you that one, but it's one of the people in here. I remember the gift offs between Nate and Bama. Yep, that was fun too. Did Kirby Air Riders outsell Prime 4? Yes. At least, definitely more than any one single SKU of Prime 4. Metroid is under 1 million? Not necessarily. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is under 1 million on one SKU. So this means, it's kind of silly, but the total could be 1,999,999, and it would not get reported because neither SKU itself hit 1 million. Meaning they both could have done, it could be 1,999,998 and it wouldn't be reported because that would mean that each system's game sold 999,999. And Nintendo only reports if one SKU does 1 million. Now, probably that's not the case. But quite possibly, the Nintendo Switch 2 version could have done 770,000. The Nintendo Switch version could have done 530,000. And then all of a sudden you're looking at 1.3 million in 27 days. That outpaces Metroid Dread. Will it outsell Metroid Dread? I don't know. Metroid Dread had 85 days on the market, 12 weeks and a day. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond has 27 days. That's 3 weeks and 6 days. So the only way you could look at it is you take Metroid Dread's 2.74 million, you divide it, you have something like 32,000 a day. Did Metroid Prime 4 Beyond sell more than 870,000? And according to what I've seen, yes, it did. But we don't have a raw, real number. So a little bit is facts, a little bit of is extrapolating what data we have. Metroid Prime 4 is worth mentioning that it never had a full holiday, only released December 4th. Yeah. Everyone is gifting. Yes, yes, yes. Switch 2 Lite P Chalice would get one. You don't think they'll drop the price because of the tariffs? Yeah, that is something that gets in the way. The problem with the OLED version of the Switch 2 is the cost. 120 hertz at that model could be a thing. I agreed that a cheaper entry should come first, like a Switch 2 Lite. What could they do? Like Link's Awakening for Switch 1 or Dread for OLED. They would have something in store, no doubt. They would have something in store. It could even be like Pokemon, like we were talking about. P Chalice thinking, someone for the memberships. Somebody gifted you that today. Could have been me, but it could have been one of these fine people right here. Okay, I'm catching up. Player Essence is so great. Love his personality, and he is hilarious. His Tamagotchi live stream was great. Yeah, Boom Mini. OJ's dope. Definitely cool guy. Dynamite 1776 gave you a follow and a like. I hope you have a great day. You have a positive vibes. I appreciate it. Well, thank you, Dynamite. I appreciate you sharing that positivity here and for the like. Thanks a lot for joining us. Hope to see you around for some more streams in the future. By the way, we hit Nintendo 64 likes, folks. Big thank you. Sketch is saying, technically couldn't Prime 4 have sold... Yeah, this is exactly what I was saying. 900,000 and a combined 900,000 Switch 2. A Switch and Switch 2 each selling 900,000. The figures wouldn't be shared. Just a hypothetical, Max. 100% correct. Sketches of Harmony. Exactly. How dare you almost miss the Boom Mini donation? No way would I. Let's see. Paul, hyper, more gift than viewer. Yeah, right. I think we had for a bit there a higher dono than we did have a viewer total. Right now we're actually even. As I'm reading this, we've got $68 in stream donos and 68 people watching now. So that's pretty cool. And Nintendo 64 likes. Excellent. Okay, all. I have to head out to work. Keep the momentum going. You are all awesome. Thank you, Roger. Have a great day at work. And thank you so much for that generosity earlier. Have an awesome one. Corny Puddle loved Pokemon Stadium as a kid. Hold on. Zabakin 11. Hey, happy people. Hey, Zabakin. Mario Tennis Fever in February, and Pokemon Pocopia. Pokemon Pocopia, yep. Martial Art Academy U. I remember that comment. I saw that one earlier when I was scrolling after that comment. I want a Smash Bros. Purely for another Sakurai hosted direct. The man has such passion for his craft. He does. I love how much chat there is to catch up. Great Mario. 56 says, hello there. How crazy would it be if the General Direct this Friday, right after the partner showcase? Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Unprecedented. Nintendo wants to shock and awe. That would be a way to shock and awe. That would be cool. The General Direct, big time Timmy Jim says, the General Direct will likely be on the 3rd week of February, according to rumors. It's a good possibility. Zabakin, I think the Switch 2 edition of Metro Prime 4 shows up in the next financial report. Nintendo lists the top 10, and there are 6 more open spaces to fill. I like that idea. I like that thought. It's crazy that Resident Evil Requiem is going to be running at 60 frames per second. Wow. RX Gaming. You know what I want to say? You know what? You know what I want to voice in on that? Since Capcom got such a high level of visual fidelity, clarity in Resident Evil 9 on Nintendo Switch 2, running at 60 frames per second, I say, I dare you, Capcom. Make a quality mode that is even better looking that runs at 30 frames per second. Just for the people like me that honestly don't care a lot between solid 30 and solid 60, I will take solid 30 looking even freaking better than a solid 60 looking amazing. If both look amazing, but one looks noticeably even better, I'll take that version at 30 than the other version at 60. That's me. That's not everybody. But if Capcom was able to crank out those visuals at 60, dude, let me see what you could do at 30. Imagine the Nintendo Switch 2 version looks better than the PlayStation 5 version or the Xbox Series X version. But then the likelihood is they would also have quality versions that would look better yet, you know. You know what? We need a poll. This is a funny poll. Just I had to put up a funny poll because we've got 75 people watching now, and I'm hyped today. Are you having a good time in today's stream? It's simple. Yeah, heck yeah, or no. You know, we'll find out. We'll find out. Maybe I should have put yeah or no, but I decided I got to be a little bit funny. But yeah, RX Gaming, Resident Evil Requiem is going to be amazing on Nintendo Switch 2. I made a bingo card for the Partner Presents. I hope to get a bingo. That's cool, Tsukino Ame. I wonder how they counted the Mario Galaxy sales with there being an option to buy them separately. So it looks like you've got Galaxy 2 sales, which are digital, Galaxy sales that are digital, Galaxy 1 and 2 combined for both. So you take the both from the cartridge release that occupy both, and then you add in only Galaxy 2 digital, only Galaxy 1 digital, and then that's how they split it up to each one being like 2 point something million. Everyone is hyped for Requiem and Pragmata. Capcom is on a tear at the moment. We still have Monster Hunter Stories 3. And what if we also get Okami? And Onimusha. Could be really cool. On frame rates, I will take stable 30 over sometimes 30 and sometimes 60 all day long. Frame rate stability is more important. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. If it's dropping wonky, I would rather have just one smooth one. And I would rather have a smooth 60 over a smooth 30. But I don't mind at all smooth 30. Never have. If a game is good, it's really good. Don't really care if it's a smooth 30. If the game is awesome, you know? Whatever. That's me, though. Can't wait for Monster Hunter Story 3s. I love Monster Eggs, yeah. Especially on your large TV quality mode would be noticeably better, yeah. J-Views seeing all of the previews of Hermaga had me beyond excited. I knew it was going to look great when the rumors of it being 60 FPS were coming out. Now it's confirmed. Very impressed with Capcom. Paladin. I'm talking. I am caught up! I am caught up. Unless we get something like a... I shouldn't say it. Well, I'll say it in semi-jokingly because it would be cool, not going to lie. But unless we get something like a 50 membership kind of thing that makes me read off for a few minutes, we are good and caught up, and now I can actually go into the numbers. Do you realize it took 94 minutes of introduction and hype talking of super chats and gifted memberships, and you all firing off one another, making this such a hype stream for me to get to this point. J-Big, or sorry, not J-Big. Big time Timmy Jim. Hot take, but a stable 30 for Zelda. Oh, no, you're saying not for Zelda, just in general. A hot take, but a stable 30 is better than, than an unstable 60. Oh, no, I think that's a good take. That's a good take. Yeah. No, that's a good take. I agree. John Castle, we need to switch to exclusive Monster Hunter Rise 2. Yeah. I'll take significant graphics downgrade to get 60 FPS. Okay, cool. Stream for the ages. Heck yeah. Capcom is the Cap Goat. Yep. Finally the numbers. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. The last comment was, finally the numbers, what I've been waiting for. There's a decent chance that I am going to fall behind comments because we've got to go over the numbers. We need it. I said it earlier, but now we're in official mode. Nintendo Switch 2 sold a whopping 7.01 million units in the last quarter. One of the best quarters the company has ever had, folks. Now at 17.37 million in under 7 months. Fastest selling video game console of all time, bar none. Nobody could take that away from Nintendo Switch 2. Meanwhile, Nintendo Switch, the system that in just over 2 months, as of December 31st, will be 9 years old, sold a brilliant 1.36 million units in the last quarter, totaling 155.37 million units worldwide. 4 million and change away from hitting 160 million. If you remember my numbers, I said 155 by early December for NS. It hit it. I said 2 things for NS2. End of November / early December, it passed Wii U. It did it. Early November, it passed 15. It did it. That it would be 15 to 16 point. Sorry, that it would be 16 to 17.5. Be safe and call it 16.75. My own guess, 17.2. It did it. It did it. It did it. Congratulations, Nintendo. That's number 1. Number 2. The ratio. Important. How well is Nintendo doing? Well, very well. Early on in a system's life, Nintendo Switch 2 is already at 2.8 to 1, meaning for every one Nintendo Switch 2 out there, 2.18 video games have sold. That's very solid for just a half a year plus on the market. What's more impressive, though, is that Nintendo Switch is now at 9.66 to 1, meaning for every one Nintendo Switch is out there, 9.66 video games have sold per console. Very strong attach rate. Very strong attach rate. Going back to these numbers, Nintendo Switch did it. And this is why it has such a high attach rate. Because the software is continuing to sell past the hardware. Not that hardware is not selling, but software faster, comparatively speaking, again. Doing now 1,500,160,000 units. And Nintendo Switch 2 in this short time, 37,930,000 units. Nintendo Switch 2, it's not going to take long for it to be a 100 million selling software platform. And Nintendo Switch is only going to go up in both software and hardware, more so in software. Now, I did say, and I was right, so I will bring it up, that the ratio, the gap, is going to close Because formerly, Nintendo Switch was 14.87 times ahead of Nintendo Switch 2 hardware, and then that moved down to only 8.94. It dropped into the single digits. It moved almost 6 whole places. That's a big, big move. That's testament to how many freaking Nintendo Switch 2s sold in the last quarter. And on the software side, it was at 70.46. It dropped down to 39.55 times ahead. Meaning the software that sold on Nintendo Switch 2 was very successful to move almost a full 31 places. Tremendous sales. We're going to go over Metroid Prime 4 too, by the way. But we need to just look at this. 155.37, 154.02. I knew it like by October 1st, October 2nd, because the data was already there from Famitsu in Japan, that Nintendo DS was passed. But I knew that we had to wait officially, and unless Nintendo said otherwise, we had to wait officially until February 3rd for Nintendo to say, yeah, it has now passed. Nintendo DS got passed up, and Nintendo Switch is the #1 best-selling Nintendo console of all time. Let me say how exciting that is. Nintendo DS came out in 2004, and it took some years. It took several years to become, the new #1, and it hasn't been contested since. But that's a 22-year-old system. Nintendo Switch is peak Nintendo. As a lifelong Nintendo fan, seeing Nintendo have some different trials. You got NES and Super NES and N64 and GameCube and Wii and Wii U. But Nintendo Switch, and then now Nintendo Switch 2 is following that path. Will it have as big of a sales as Nintendo Switch at the end of the day? Maybe, maybe not. But its path right now is on fire, and it's amazing, and it will hit 160 million by summer of 2027, unless Nintendo ceases production. Now, on the other side, you do have something that's a little bit different. You've got Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS, Nintendo Switch, because Nintendo Switch is a proper successor to both the 3DS and the Wii U. Nintendo Switch 2 is a proper successor, obviously, to Nintendo Switch. You know what? Before I go into software, let me do this. Let me catch up on a little bit of the comments so I don't get too far behind. Apparently, Pragmata runs super well too. Yeah, according to impressions that came out today, I've heard that as well. Folks like Rogers Base got to check out Mario Tennis Fever. I know Andre from Game Explain has it as well. Resident Evil 9, Pragmata. All of it's looking good. Nice emoji drops. Duke Lombardi, Nintendo Switch hit the sweet spot. It really did. I thought the Switch was stupid at first, but really liked it for being a portable. Yeah, I mean, it was having modern day 2016, 2017 games like Doom and Wolfenstein that you couldn't play on Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 here on TV, looking pretty darn good in docked mode, and that you could take portably and have it on the go. It was having something as ambitious as The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which pushed Wii U to the limit. Available, boom, day one launch day, on TV, looking better, and boop, take that experience on the go. And all generation long. Splatoon 2, Splatoon 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Luigi's Mansion 3, fun experiences, Labo, ARMS, Bayonetta 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4, beautiful titles. Non-stop, Astral Chain, Fire Emblem, The Three Houses. I could go on and on. Yeah, you could play and experience Mortal Kombat 11 at a better visual fidelity on PS4 and Xbox One, but you could have a quite comparable experience, and a really good one at that, on Nintendo Switch and take it on the go. And you had modern stuff like Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 1, all on the system. Excellent. Hey Paul, what power bank would you recommend for Nintendo Switch 2? You know, Land 77900, I have been recommended a few myself, but I don't have one myself, so I don't have one that I could actually recommend personally. On my X account, though, I have had a few people recommend one. You know what? Hold on a second. This isn't a direct recommendation coming from me, but for what it's worth, a few people have recommended something like the Genki magnetic portable battery with an adhesive magnetic ring stuck on the back that gives an additional 6 hours of playtime. There's an $80 option that's 30 watts and a $20 option that's 22.5 watts. But it looks like the Genki magnetic portable battery is something being recommended. So I hope that helps you out a little bit, because that's from what was recommended to me, but not something of my own knowledge and pure experience, you know? 7 million in 3 months versus 10 million in 4 months containing launch. That wasn't a bad holiday at all. Uh-huh. You said it. Pokemon Mysteries Dungeon. Okay, talking amongst each other. People like me who have 20-ish Switch games might be helping the attach rate a bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, my Nintendo Switch purchases up there for sure. The success of Steam Deck has already started that. The Switch 2 will solidify the trend. Okay, talking amongst each other. Are you surprised by the numbers? Not too much, figure drawing. Not too much. 5 months on the average of 2 million rounded down makes your prediction pretty darn solid. 5 months on the prediction on the average of 2 million rounded down. Oh, I think I get that. Watch out, PlayStation might add another 5 million. I don't think we'll see a Switch 3, just a Switch 2 Pro maybe. You know, Sketches of Harmony, it's going to be interesting. Nintendo has such a hit right now. What do they do after Nintendo Switch 2? I think you just go Nintendo Switch 3. Like, if Nintendo Switch 2 sells another 127 million or something like that, or 170 million, you keep the name, you keep the brand, you just improve the specs, you add another little something fun or another here or there, you do more things to help boost up battery life. You don't need to make it bigger screen size, I don't think. Good parts, better storage capacity, backwards compatible, kickstand dock, 4K, you name it, just better graphics and little bells and whistles here and there, like just Nintendo Switch 3, I think. I don't know. We'll see. Today, RGT said extreme fanboys expected the Switch 2 sales numbers. Thoughts? Expert analysts expected these numbers. People that looked at the data, who understand data, have been doing this thing for like 25 years. Officially, 24 years in the stock market. That's different, though. Longer than that, analyzing video game numbers. 23 years in the stock market, but longer than that with video game numbers. When you have that much history, doesn't make you infallible, doesn't make you 100% right, but it means you're pretty darn good at analyzing and projecting. Capcom has me double dipping on Switch 2 and PS5 games. With this trend, the Switch 2 should be the GameCube next quarter. Yeah, if it does my 22.5 by June 30th, it will beat it by then. But by this next quarter, ooh, maybe. 72 likes. Heck yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That's good to see. Good to see. Okay. I'm looking through the comments so I don't get too far behind. Do you use multiple SD cards? I have 1 terabyte card. That's the only one that I have in my Nintendo Switch 2. And that is a very solid, very good card. What a time, yes. The question is, can Switch 2 hold its demand going forward? I didn't expect anything less than 20 million first year. Yeah, because you know what? We got over 17 million before the new year, before the next big direct. And we're going to get Resident Evil, and more people are going to be like, whoa, hold on, Nintendo does more than Mario? Because there's still some people that think that way. There are still some people that think, oh, yeah, that's a kiddie thing. I think a lot fewer people think that these days because last freaking gen, you got all of the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. You got Crash Bandicoot and Spyro that got full trilogy ports on over. You got Resident Evil has always been pretty tight with Nintendo, going back to the Nintendo 64 days, but you had the likes of Resident Evil 6, digital only, selling 1 million on Nintendo Switch alone. And the game's already old at that point, for crying out loud. And you got Metal Gear Solid pack coming over, and then the Batman Arkham trilogy coming on over, and Mortal Kombat's, and plenty of games. Dooms and Wolfensteins and Harry Potter's and Lego Star Wars, so a lot. And expanded IP, not just Mario and Zelda, but Animal Crossing and Splatoon and Xenoblade and Fire Emblem. Nintendo built up power. And then now, 2026, you're going to be like, whoa, RE9? Pragmata? Hold on. What else does Capcom have? They already got Street Fighter 6? And they're doing Monster Hunter? Hold on, this thing now has Madden again? I thought Madden stopped. Wait, it's getting Call of Duty? Call of Duty looks like that. The third-party partner showcase is super important. We know we're getting 3D Mario. We know we're getting 3D Zelda. Don't worry, they're coming. But not every Nintendo generation do we know that every Assassin's Creed, every Tomb Raider, every Final Fantasy is coming. Now we have FF7 Remake. Look at how much online chatter is going to a 5.5-year-old game that came out early 2020. It's almost a 6-year-old game. And it's might as well being talked about like a brand new title. That's power. Now, imagine when something new is big megaton status that's day and date. Will that be RE Requiem? I don't know if it's going to mean as much to the industry as RE7 Remake did, but it's going to be a pretty big deal, you know what I mean? And just wait till something like Injustice 3 is shown, or let's say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Rise of Ronin. The movie got canceled, but the game, for all we know, is still underway. Let's say that game comes out, and it looks epic. Hot IP, a lot of people want it. Sales beast. It's going to help drive up momentum, Nintendo Switch 2. And then you've got the Mario Galaxy movie, $1.5 billion generating film probably. Then you've got a Summer Direct. Then you've got DLC coming eventually to Mario Kart World. Then you've got probably a Zelda Ocarina of Time remake coming. And eventually a new 3D Mario coming. And a Zelda live-action movie. And new stuff added to the theme parks. And another whole new theme park opening up in Singapore. Dude, Nintendo is crushing it. Do not let anyone convince you otherwise. It is selling big, and it is going to sell even more into the new year. Nintendo goes red, Virtual Boy. Cybernetic, Nintendo Switch 2 XL, Switch 3. I envision a dock that can boost the power. Yeah. Square Enix has me triple dipping on FF7, PS5, Steam, and Switch 2. The Nintendo 3000. Plug it into your head for direct play. That'd be cool. Dual screen support while keeping the hybrid mode. Is it a 1 terabyte Lexar SD card? Yes. I have this, the Play Pro card. It is doing me well. What would do even better is a 2 terabyte card, so you can have all that NS library and future-proof NS2. But yeah, I can't see a Nintendo Switch 3 edition of a game. I think they'll want to keep it simple. Yeah, maybe not at that point, like upgrading Nintendo Switch anymore, or maybe not updating Nintendo Switch 3, maybe or updating Switch 2 games. Maybe it won't be called that, but it'll just be play all of your Switch 1, Switch 2 games, run them at the best that they could run on respective systems, and then here's Nintendo Switch 3, a brand new console. Boom. Code Veronica. Oh. Ooh, CBH. Oh, I like that. Code Veronica is a good game. I remember people were not happy when that was a Dreamcast exclusive for a while and that it was not coming out on like PS2. And eventually Code Veronica got ported to Nintendo GameCube, but Code Veronica is a good one. Resident Evil Code Veronica. Some people think that should have been called 4. Exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2? Dang. A lot of people would go crazy. That would be pretty wild. Didn't Nintendo have a survey showing average age of Nintendo users? Yeah, it is the number one highest age of Nintendo Switch user was, I think, 21. Like the number one age of most played was 21 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And then that range was like, yeah, in the 20 to 30s. Partner showcase will be different. Boom, boom, boom. Shenmue 4, that'd be cool. Splatoon Raiders is a big deal. Yoko Novish, Splatoon Raiders is going to be dope. I need to see more. I need to see more of Splatoon Raiders, and I think we will this spring. I don't think we go past April 30th and not see more on that game. Hot take. I think the Dusk Bloods will ship consoles. I think so too. From Software fans are a passionate bunch, especially after Elden Ring. Yep. MGS the Twin Snakes remake exclusive again. That'd be funny. Oh, that'd be fun. Ooh, a big remake of Metal Gear Solid. That would be like Final Fantasy VII remake levels right there. I think. You have the same card. Cool. Very exciting time to be a Nintendo fan. Yes. I'm waiting for a 2 terabyte card. It'll be $450. Be the cost of a freaking console itself for a thing this big. Yikes. I still think we'll see other Nintendo patent for a second screen. Might be. We got 75 likes. Woo! Heck yeah. What's Code Veronica like? It is another Resident Evil game. But it was like the first next-gen game because 1, 2, and 3 were PlayStation, with 2 also being on Nintendo 64. And then Code Veronica came out, was like, whoa. And then Nintendo GameCube had Resident Evil 1 Remake, Resident Evil 0, ports of 2 and 3 regular, and then it had the exclusive Resident Evil 4, which Shinji Mikami said it'll never come out on another console. And then, unfortunately, before the game even came out on Nintendo GameCube, it was announced that it will be later coming to PlayStation 2, and Nintendo GameCube had like a 9-month exclusivity on it. But they really should have waited for the GameCube version to come out, which would help GameCube sales even more. And then, like, wait till June, let the game exist for 5 months to announce PS2 version coming out later in the year. You know? But that wasn't the case. That happens once in a while. I remember it happened with Rayman Legends on Wii U, exclusive to Wii U. Then got delayed. Oh, before it even came out, it's also coming out on PS3 and Xbox One, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, timing. Timing is important. Hot take. I think Metal Gear Solid 2 was the best Metal Gear Solid. I like 2. Raiders got to have 4-player co-op. That would be good. Code Veronica is a Resident Evil game, yeah. I hope Expedition 33 is one of them. Could you imagine that one showing up this week? That's another big one. Made it to work. Lurking for now. Heck yeah, Roger. I hope that on your ride, Roger, you were listening because, oof, was it fire in here. I mean, that's a little bit biased because I'm the one talking, but dang, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. But I'm glad you're here now. By the way, 74 likes, 67 people watching now. Let's go. You'd have to triple dip on Expedition. Darth Wario. Wario. Even though Nintendo is putting up amazing numbers, all I'm seeing online is people ignoring all that and crying about Metroid Prime 4 sales numbers not being reported. I'm going to get into that. More of it. Robbie Rains. Hi, Paul. Hi, Robbie Rains. Okay. Woo! Let's get into some of the software sales. Check this out. Look at Mario Kart World sitting there. It's been out for less than 7 months. 14,030,000. Love it. Donkey Kong Bonanza, 4.25 million. The game barely came out in July. 5.5 months old. Love it. The Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Pokemon Legends ZA, 3.89 million. 2.5 months. Love it. Kirby Air Riders, 1.76 million. A month and a half? Love it. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, not on this list, but also a 1 million plus seller, barely out for 5 weeks. Love it. Speaking of love it, more green in the chat from Quiet Lion Gaming. Fastest selling console ever. Hype. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. Quiet Lion Gaming. Thank you very much for the awesome $5 super chat. I appreciate it. You are correct too. Nothing comes close. Nothing freaking comes close. I mean, Nintendo Switch 2 destroyed it, folks. It destroyed everything else. But it's not sold through to consumers. It's only sold through to retailers. That's how every single freaking report ever is stated first as being that. Then it gets, here's the stuff that was sold to stores, and then that stuff sells to consumers. But what if it doesn't sell? What if it doesn't sell? It is. But what if it doesn't? Then retailers are going to mark it down to $50 and it's still going to sell. Nintendo made their money, but it's not. You're not looking at a system that is struggling like the tail end of GameCube, like most of Dreamcast, where they had to reduce it to $50 and stick it in the bargain bin to have it. You know, there's not a sense of too many PlayStation 2s were left over that stores dropped it to 100, had the bundled game in it, bundled in more games and accessories, and then had it out there. It's not that. This is a strong selling system in Nintendo Switch 2 that everything that's out there is going to sell. And Nintendo Switch, still selling. You'll see it, everybody. May, you're going to have another several 100,000 Nintendo Switches, Switch 1s that have sold. And another few million Nintendo Switch 2s. Blue Ocean strategy was the way to go. Stores aren't buying that many consoles if they don't expect to sell them. Absolutely! Okay, let's go over some Nintendo Switch numbers. Look at that. Look at that beautiful thing right there. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 70.59 million. 70 million. Did you ever think that Mario Kart 8 was going to be a 70 million seller? Dang. So cool. Love it. Animal Crossing New Horizons. You all know what's coming, right? Sorry. What am I talking about? Ooh, my mind it took away a reality. Y'all know what just happened, right? 49.32 million. In January, after this, we got the update that gave free stuff to all users. Zelda, Splatoon, Lego coming to Nintendo Switch, and a Nintendo Switch 2 version update. Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's going to hit 50. What I was thinking for a moment was what's going to happen, but that was the me as of December 31st. What's going to happen in a couple of weeks? In reality, it happened a couple of weeks ago. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at 37.44. Still moving hundreds of thousands per quarter. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 33.64 million. You know how happy I am to see a Zelda game north of 33 million? It's magnificent. It's one of my favorite franchises in all of gaming. Super Mario Odyssey at 30.27. Did I ever think that a Zelda game would be a better selling title than a Mario game? Leading titles head to head in a generation? I don't know. But I am so happy for both of them. Wonderful game right here. Over 30. Tremendous. Check it out. Check it out. Powerhouse back to back. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet sitting at 28.08 million. People thought there's no way this pair was going to top Sword and Shield. And I said, no, it will. Sword and Shield became the new number 2 best-selling Pokemon pair of games of all time, only behind the original Red, Blue, Green. That got passed up by Scarlet and Violet. Now, Scarlet and Violet is the number 2 best-selling Pokemon pair of all time. And Pokemon Sword and Shield are at 27.08 million. They're now the number 3. That all happened on one generation. Not, this one's on Game Boy, this one's on Game Boy Advance, this one's on DS, this one's on 3DS. No, both happened on Nintendo Switch. And like I said earlier, there's a 2-year gap between Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and Sword and Shield. A 3-year gap between Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. Now, if Gen 10 comes out this fall, there will be a 4-year gap between Scarlet and Violet and Gen 10 Pokemon. Anyways, moving down the list. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom at 22.4 million. Tremendous. For my sequel to my favorite game of all time in Breath of the Wild, getting a game that sells an additional 22 million for the franchise it's excellent to see. 11 million behind. So what, dude? You're talking about a sequel in the same world, in the same setup, doing that well. I love it. Morphed terrain and such, but not a completely brand new experience in every capacity, which most Zelda games do. I cannot complain. I'm so happy. Super Mario Party, 21.28 million. Excellent. Followed by New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, 18.8 million. These are some big sales. You've got one of the best-selling 2D Mario games ever, the best-selling Mario Party, the pair of both best-selling Zelda games, the second and third best-selling Pokemon, the best-selling 3D Mario, the best-selling Smash Bros, the best-selling Animal Crossing, the best-selling Mario Kart. You know, that's magnitude right there. By the way, I have a little bit of an additional breakdown for y'all. I compiled this list. This list is good right here. Let me read some more comments though. By the way, 74 watching again. Can we get to 80? Two small things. Chat, if you haven't already, I have a pinned comment, a pinned link. If you don't mind hitting that link, that is my sales analysis breakdown. If you have any hype left this week and don't mind hyping it, possibly triple hyping it if you don't plan on hyping elsewhere. If you do, I understand. But a hype, a like, a comment on the pinned link, since we've got 72 people in the chat, would be great. And 77 likes in this stream, which is awesome. We're also at $73 in our stream today. if we hit $128 in subscriptions, whether it's members subscribing themselves or gifted or super chats, we're going to give out a $10 eShop card today. We'll see. That would be pretty cool to have this hype of a stream and also give out a $10 eShop card. But I'm going to do a little bit of a breakdown in a moment on the software sales because they include more than what I just read off. Let me get into some chat though. In my opinion, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe should have sold 100 million by now. 70.5 is still great though. Then Napoleon says, it's a Butte Clark, a Wii U game that has sold 5 times the Wii U. Yeah. Mario Kart 8 selling those numbers. Now after all that criticism it got early on, Mario Kart World will follow a similar story. Mario Kart World is definitely going to sell. It will be a little bit less per quarter, partially because that bundle doesn't exist anymore, but it's still going to sell. Adventures for a King. Glad these are a little later in the day so I can listen on my way home from work. Heck yeah. Drive home safely and enjoy. How many games did you have on that list that got Mike Odyssey arrested by Detective Yoshi? Well, you remember, Steak. My big one was Super Mario Galaxy 3 or Super Mario Universe with the whole jumping into Lilat System, Hyrule, Zebes, Donkey Kong Island and stuff. That was funny. People can criticize Scarlet and Violet all they want. It's the most fun I've had in the mainline Pokemon game since the OG Red Blue despite its issues. Very cool. Played Pokemon Blue, Yellow, and Gold. Cool. WillMax11, hello. Yoko Novish. Super Mario Bros. Wonder has sold 17 million units. What are the chances of a second title by 2028? I think we'll get a new 2D title, and I'll kind of tell you why. Because Super Mario Bros. Wonder is at 17.15 million. It's really good. And that's before what happens in a couple of months? The upgrade, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, it's going to reinvigorate some interest. Sketches of Harmony might pick up the next Legends Pokemon game. Cool. Slightly annoying that Super Mario Party sold more than All-Stars and Jamboree, which are better in your opinion. You think Zelda could triple in popularity? Breath of the Wild selling 100 million, Tears of the Kingdom 70. Those particular games, I don't think will reach 170 respectively. Nor do I think any particular Zelda game will sell 100 on its own or 70 on its own. But never say never. I would love for it to happen. But we don't even have like Mario Kart or 3D Mario selling 100 on its own, you know. Mario Party has a lot of games, yeah. I hope Wonder surpasses U Deluxe in the next year or two. It might. Can you turn up your mic? I could turn up my mic. Let me know if this is a little bit better. Minecraft has sold 6.5 million across Spain, Japan, France. For some reason, they don't report other countries. It's probably actually 15 million plus on Switch. I would like to hear the total of Minecraft on Nintendo Switch. Yeah. Actually, Miss Mario Party 9. Nintendo is showing the games available for Virtual Boy this month. Yeah. I was going to get Labo VR. It's sold out. Yeah, isn't that cool? Like, we're going to see Virtual Boy in 2026 outsell Virtual Boy from 1995. Maybe. It has to do 1 million. By the way, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm really feeling it. We are so close. We are just like bouncing back and forth on the verge of hitting 80 people watching now. I would like for it to happen. Does this help out the voice a little bit closer and a little bit louder? Chillin' Hard 187. Hello, Paul and everybody. Hello, Chillin' Hard. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Here's a little bit more on the conversation of sales. How well did each game do in the last quarter? Because, like, I just showed you some big numbers. Okay, that's all nice and stuff, but some of those games have been out for a while. How about the last quarter? Relevant, recent history. Well, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did 1,030,000 in a world where Nintendo Switch 2 exists, where Mario Kart World exists. MK8 Deluxe still did 1,030,000. Animal Crossing New Horizons, before this update with the likes of Splatoon, Zelda, and Lego, did 700,000. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, last 3 months moved over 500,000, 510,000. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild did 300,000 more. Super Mario Odyssey sold another 430,000. Scarlet and Violet did 470,000 more for Pokemon. Sword and Shield did another 120,000 more for Pokemon. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom sold an additional 250,000. I always find it interesting when quarter after quarter, Tears of the Kingdom sells a little less than Breath of the Wild. But I know why. Breath of the Wild is out there more, has a bigger name, sells better. Tears of the Kingdom is a bigger game that offers more in some capacity, doesn't have DLC, does have a $70 price tag. Both are tremendous, but not only did Breath of the Wild come out first, but still per quarter ends up selling more. Super Mario Party, an additional 50,000. And here's a fun one. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, 270,000. It's at 18.8 million. Nintendo Switch Sports, something that not a lot of people talk about, is a 17.84 million seller, which did 1.57 million. Now this is since March of 2025, so that's 9 months of data. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, meanwhile, did a total of 17.15 million, 1.12 million since March, so 1.12 million in the last 9 months. Here's how well Pokemon Legends ZA did on Nintendo Switch. That version, 8.41 million. And here's that breakdown of what I was asked earlier between Super Mario Galaxy 2 and Super Mario Galaxy. 2.42 million for Galaxy 2, 2.28 million to Galaxy. As far as Nintendo Switch 2 titles, in the last quarter, Mario Kart World sold 4.46 million. That number is not going to be as high next quarter. 1, because it's not the holidays. 2, it's not going to be bundled in anymore. But it still will sell well, no doubt. By the way, geez, I looked over. Nintendo 64 people watching now and 80 likes. Let's go! 80 likes. Nintendo 64 people watching. 2-hour stream. $73 in stream total. Roger Enyart, Pokemon Fan 34, Boom Mini 5606, Tabby Cat Games, Sketches of Harmony, AJ Rax 0440, Quiet Lion Gaming, Ash CN5CR. Thank you to all of you and everyone in this room for being here today. Thank you to those particularly mentioned for your contributions to the stream. I appreciate the generosity. Super Mario Party Jamboree on Nintendo Switch 2 did another 770,000. Pokemon Legends ZA Nintendo Switch 2 edition, 3.89 million. Donkey Kong Bonanza. How well did Bonanza do in the last 3 months? Yeah, it sold a few million at launch through September 30th as of, its July release date. But what about in the next quarter? Another 760,000. Over 750,000 people bought this game. I accidentally typed out Pokemon Legends ZA twice, but then we have Kirby Air Riders at 1.76 million. And we do know that Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment sold more than 1 million. It's just not here because this is the first party list. But that's brilliant stuff. Okay. we have to go over this because there's some worry that I've seen that's not needed necessarily. Where is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond? Metroid Dread showed up back in 2021 in 2022's February fiscal report. Where's Metroid Prime 4 Beyond? First of all, Metroid Dread released October 8th. It had 85 days, almost an entire 3 months of availability in that quarter, 12 weeks and 1 day. And it was paired alongside the Nintendo Switch OLED model, and it sold 2.74 million copies. That's an average of 32,235 a day. Metroid Prime 4 was out for 27 days, releasing on December 4th. That's 3 weeks and 6 days. You can see there's quite a big difference between 3 weeks and 6 days of availability in the quarter and 12 weeks and 1 day. It's close to 4 times as much. Not quite, but like I said, close. To my understanding, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond sold better, comparatively speaking, than Metroid Dread in the allotted time. Some people don't like that train of thought, but it is what it is. It's unfair to say quarter to quarter when the games have had different times in said quarter. So what can you do is look at the first 27 days. And to my understanding, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond has sold more than 870,345 units, if my information is correct. This also goes pretty well, but is a little under my multiplier, but that was also by me when I received the information that Japan accounts for less than 5% of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond's total sales. Now that was a little bit earlier than when I reported it, but I still came up with a range, and it was like within this, if I'm not mistaken, 800,000 to 1.1 million range or something like that. Presumably, which by the end of December, you'd be looking at 950,000 to 1.4 million or something. So I think that it's very likely that I don't see the game being less than 870K, but it's possible. I see the game being somewhere in the probably 950,000 to 1.4 million range. And if you wanted to say 1,150,000, that's a million seller in 27 days. Maybe it did 1.3, maybe it did 1.4. But why didn't Nintendo say it then, if it's a million seller? Because Nintendo operates on single SKUs. And then that's where I give the example here. What if the game sold 830,000 on Nintendo Switch 2 and 570,000 on Nintendo Switch? That would be 1.4 million. I think a lot of people wouldn't be complaining if Nintendo said 1.4 million. After all, nobody's complaining at Kirby. Kirby did what? 1.7 million? 1.76 million. And it was out for almost 2 months. So if Metroid Prime 4 did 1.4 million in less than 1 full month, that would be pretty darn awesome. But it's a single SKU situation with Kirby. It's a 2 SKU situation with Metroid. Now, I'm not saying the game did sell 1.4 million, but I am thinking as of like 3 weeks or so into December, the game already hit 1, and that by the end of December, it hit the other. I like to provide a range. I like to look at the halfway mark, and then if I'm feeling a little more ambitious, I'll go like this. If I'm feeling a little less ambitious, I'll go like this. It's what I did with Nintendo Switch hardware sales, software sales, Nintendo Switch 2 hardware sales, software sales, and I was correct. I'm being a little bit more ambitious with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and I'm not thinking, yeah, the game did like 870K or 950K. I'm also not saying, oh yeah, it did 1.4 million for sure. But if I'm taking my middle point or something like that of like 1.15, I'm going a little bit north of that. I think 1.2, 1.3 is possible. Shoot, it might even be at my peak of like 1.4. Now, what is the true peak? I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but if it sold, as silly as this is, if it sold 999,999 on Nintendo Switch 2 and that same exact number on Nintendo Switch, you would get 1,999,998, and Nintendo would not have marked it down. As silly as that is. Dude, it's too shy of 2 million. You're not going to say it? Nope. Now, I don't think it did on the cusp of 2 million, but it could have done 1.7 million. That's a lot. Imagine 900,000 on Nintendo Switch 2, 800,000 on Nintendo Switch. Now you're looking at Kirby numbers in quite a significant amount of time less. I just don't think it's that high. But you know what I'm saying? If it did 1.4 million, let's just go with that for now. That's 51,852 per day. That is a more impressive start than Metroid Dreads. Some people don't like the way the narrative is spun. It's not spinning it. It is called accuracy. It's time aligned. You don't say, PlayStation 2 sold more than Nintendo Switch. Yeah, PlayStation 2 sold more than Nintendo Switch in its entirety of lifetime, in 15 years of being out there, in every last system being sold from the market. Nintendo Switch is 8 years and 10 months old. Let's wait until Nintendo Switch is done and then compare. Yes, you could compare Nintendo DS, 154 million to PlayStation 2, 160 million, fine. You could compare any past system, even if it hasn't been out for a certain amount of time relative to the other one. For instance, N64 will always be out for less time than NES, but you could compare both now because neither are being sold anymore, and you could say NES sold more than N64. But if you're doing something that's a newer product, you have to do time aligned. You can't just say, "Jeez, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is a failure. It only did 900,000. Yeah, 900,000 in 27 days. Compared to Metroid Dread's 3.2 million. Yeah, that thing's been out for 5 years almost, you know? Okay, so look back at the first quarter. It didn't do 3.2 million in the first quarter. It did 2.74 million. And that means it had 85 days of availability and not 27 days. So you gotta average it out and compile what's the first 27 days. Now, it's not entirely accurate because we do know that Metroid Dread had a very strong opening week and very likely is indeed more than that, figure of 870,000. But it's not to the point of, dude, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond bombed because it's not showing up. So don't let people do that. There's a narrative going around that it bombed. It didn't. Did it do brilliantly well? No. Could it be a million seller between the two versions? Yes. We just have to wait for more. Okay? Just have to wait a little bit more, folks. Now I know I'm behind in chat. Hold on a second. "2010 Giants. 9 was okay. 2014, one of the best years. Mario Kart World at 14 million sales out of 15. Sell-through means 90% attach rate. There was only a 66% bundle out there. A lot of people are still buying it, Charles Trudell. Yeah, a lot of people will buy the game regardless. Confession time, I enjoyed Age of Imprisonment more than Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Hey, that's cool. Bachi is back. Unfortunate, Mario 1 and 8 Deluxe are the only Mario games that have been sold more than 40. Odyssey deserves more. Mario Bros. U. 3D World. 3D World's another great one. Should be 40 million plus. Chillin' hard. I saw your video where Nintendo cracked almost 18 million. Heck yeah, thank you. Sketches. Some good points. Not to, okay, talking amongst each other. Ooh, Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Ah, yeah. Tatsunoko versus Capcom. I have that one right here. Tatsunoko versus Capcom on Wii. Dang. This is a good game. This is a good game. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that colorful art book. Check out this colorful art book. Ah, man. Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. Dude, this was a cool game. Neat disc. Neat art. I like it. I like it. I could go for another Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Talk about Dodgers. Let's see. I think Nintendo Switch is going to PlayStation in terms of units. Past PlayStation, yeah. Lily Young, hi there. Hi, peeps. Hi, hi. Metro Dread came out to a much larger install base. Well, technically Nintendo Switch plus Nintendo Switch 2 is a bigger install base for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond than just Nintendo Switch with Metroid Dread, you know. $1.4 million sounds reasonable. Yeah. There's probably been at least one game during the Switch's lifespan that sold like 975,000. Yeah, and Nintendo does some weird things like, look, we didn't get updates on Super Mario Bros. Wonder or Nintendo Switch Sports in 9 months. And then we did, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we sold another million of those. So it took 9 months in that calendar year, almost a whole fiscal year too, obviously. Yeah. But we got it. Metroid Dread was also used to market that Switch OLED. I mean, it was very convenient that one of the OLED models was white, and the Emmy's one of the primary colors was white, you know. Japan still plays 2D Metroid. They don't play a lot of Metroid at all, but they do play more 2D than 3D. Shy Guy as a top super chatter. We do have to put Shy Guy up there. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you for that heads up. Now we have Shy Guy, followed by Roger Enyart, Pokemon Fan 34, and Boo Mini, Tabby Cat Games, and Sketches of Harmony, and AJ Rax, and Quiet Lining Gaming, and Ash CN5CR. Good support today. Nintendo's new price system has bumped up the prices by $10. Budget is 60, premium 70, super premium is 80. Yeah, things are getting up there. When we used to get instruction booklets, yeah. Membership versus super chat. Oh, oh, oh. That. Well, yeah, that too. So two things I have to fix. Yes. that does not go there. Thank you, Tabby, for mentioning that, which ironically made your name go off, but it is the reality of things. Dang, I'm almost out of space. I could fit more. Hey, I could fit more. Like what? How many more spots? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different people's probably. Um, Although I can make it a smaller font size and fit even more, you know. He knocked me out? Yeah, he did. Charlie Smith, hi there. Well, this is well over Nintendo 64 minutes. Yeah, it is. I mean, we definitely had a lot to talk about. You know what's funny? This whole time, if I'm not mistaken, I seem to remember a day and age where formerly Twitter updated that bell with how many messages you had. Because I'm positive that there was a time where I saw 30, 40, 87, like a lot of notifications. And then either late Twitter or when X took over, I'm not sure, but I'm positive that there used to be numbers that were higher, but now it stops at 20 plus. Now it stops at 20 plus, and it's been 20 plus all stream long, especially it's been 20 plus all stream long, which means it's probably bonkers because I put up a lot of video game sales stuff today. What I was laughing is because Corey Boehm says challenge accepted, and is gonna make this list go longer, which I appreciate. That's super cool of you. Thank you, Corey, for the $2 super chat. You just stretched out the list there, which is now looking pretty cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are only 4 slots left, and then I would have to lower this one to here. So I guess I have 2 here, so that would be a little bit scrunched, but there are different colors to differentiate. So there are 4 before I'd have to modify, and then 6 until, I ran out of space. That's the least of my worries. Because if I ran out of space, I guess I would make it a lower font or something like that. You know what I mean? Thank you, Corey. Peach is sleeping. She probably could be waking up, but I don't know if she wants to wake up. I'll be glad when I'm Paul level. Speaking of levels, well, I don't know if that's a good segue, but let's just check out the poll. 78 votes. Are you having a good time in today's stream? Yeah, got 55%. Heck yeah, got 44%. And no, got 1%. Hey, 1% means yeah, exactly one person voted, I think. Yeah. Because if it was 100 people that voted, 1% would be 1. We don't have 100 people, so it could only be 1 person. You know, because technically that's less than 1%. That's a pretty darn good. Roger, and your space for 10 more? No more space, Roger. I mean, yes, Roger, there's space. I could make some space. I could lower the font size. I could make it size 10. But right now, the space is small. But I'll take some more space. I'll make it. Holy crud! Woo! We got more space up in here. My space, your space. Facebook? Ha 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 ha. Bam! Just like that. 85 now. And then that means that Roger's hold on, Roger's total. Here, boom! 22. Geez, Shy Guy was number 1 for a while today. Just till now. Wait, is that memberships too? Do I have to update the membership total? Was that memberships or... I think it was. Wow, I'm scrolling all over the place. That was memberships. Wow. That means we're at 358. Excellent to see. Woo, 358. We're getting close to 400 members again. And at this time, I'm going to end the poll. That's a good stop. That's a good stopping point, right? I like those numbers. You know what? I'm going to take a picture of that. I'm going to take a picture of that because that's pretty cool right there. I dig it. Dang, Roger. Thank you so much for that awesome 10. Charlie Smith saying, I meant to choose. Heck yeah, that's okay. Whoever hit no, why you here? Yeah, I mean, I guess one person came by and didn't like the stream. Maybe they just came in because they're like, oh, what's this guy talking about? And didn't like the conversation, or I don't know. But hey, that's okay. That's okay. Whew, we got to read Roger's 10. We got John099, Rafa.Barros, Exilon XD, IDK my user 09, Solo Developer Hunter, Ryan M8382, Luigi Cap YT, Pando Rose, Roderick 2826, and Salmon Hamoud 2244. Let's go. MySpace 2005 was the vibe. Yeah, dang. I used to have MySpace. MySpace was fun. I wasn't like first that joined, but I did early enough in that I benefited from it for a few years, and it was kind of cool. Profile page, unique music, 90 likes. Just after Roger did his dono, we got 90 likes. Thank you, Roger. That brought on something good. 3 more people hit that like button. Don't forget to update the top memberships. That one we did successfully re-up to 358, correct? Or should that be 368 now? Oh, man. Hold on, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy this just in case I mess it up. Okay. No, we did. Wholesome Gale Network. Attention, everyone. Virtual Boy is back in the My Nintendo store. Okay, cool. Brain Training for Switch is a great game. Yeah, Big Brain Academy. What's that one called? I have it. I have the original right here. Big Brain Academy for Wii. And then I have the Nintendo Switch version of Big Brain Academy. I like it. I'm a big fan of Big Brain Academy. It's really fun. Blonky19, it was me. I clicked no for the lulz. I like the stream, haha. Blonky19, oh my gosh, you admitted it. You are the one person that clicked no. Ah! For funsies? Well, that's okay. Well, I'm glad that you like the stream. But dang it, that means that we could have had a 100% like? That's okay. Even then, it wouldn't have been 100 because I put yeah, heck yeah, and then no. That's pretty funny. Everyone is nostalgic for MySpace. I remember GeoCities era. Yeah. The amount. Does the amount go to 95? 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 82, 84, 85. I think I'm at 85. So I think that's updated properly. Whoa, Dr. Kawashima. Big Brain Academy is in the US, but not Brain Training, unfortunately. Yeah, Brain Training and Big Brain Academy are different things. W Stream. Adventures for a King. You know what I enjoy about your content? It's clean fun, no swearing or things I have to turn off when my son is listening. Ah, good point, Adventures for a King. Thank you for saying that and for the acknowledgement. I appreciate it. You know, I've got 2 kids myself, so I know what that's like and know what that could be like if like you're watching all of a sudden and all of a sudden beep, you know, F-bomb when you're not expecting it or something like that, you know. Yeah. It was a huge DS seller. Yeah, we are so close to 100 likes. Definitely. You know what we could do? Because this stream has had a little bit of everything. We could watch a couple of shorts. I think we're caught up on shorts with what we've watched yesterday. Today in gaming history, February 2nd, 2017, Fire Emblem Heroes launched for iOS and Android worldwide. That was kind of fun. That music is so heroic. It was the best thing that I could do in the moment. We didn't do that one yesterday. And we didn't do this one yesterday. Today in gaming history, February 2nd, 1994, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 launched for the Sega Genesis in North America. That one was fun. I'm gonna let it go twice. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 launched for the Sega Genesis in North America. Because I wanted to incorporate Sonic 3's cover with his hand off to the side and the number 3. But then I also wanted to run because, well, that's what Sonic does, is run. So I did both. Do a Peach short. Probably Peach will be popping up soon. Sooner or later. She finds a way how to make her way in. The Wii series games are amazing. I have a Wii Sports Resort. Yeah, those are good. Wii Play Motion. Yeah, same here. Sketches of Harmony, my first console. Sketches of Harmony. Your first console was a Wii? That's neat. Wii was legit. The Mega Drive in the UK. Oh, you're talking about Sega Genesis, also known as Sega Mega Drive in more countries than not. Actually, yeah, all but United States was it the Mega Drive. US was only Sega Genesis. Yeah. Yeah, the Mega Drive was your first console, which is pretty cool. My first experience was Commodore 64, then I had a Mega Drive. That's cool, Nerdy Paul. Yeah, my first gaming console that I owned in any capacity was the TI-94A computer gaming device. It was a large keyboard like this. In the right side, if I'm not mistaken, it had a cartridge slot that you slid in and it connected to the TV, and that was your gaming device. And you typed on it, and your button commands were your inputs and stuff like that. And I had that before I had an NES, and then Nintendo Entertainment System I got for my 6th birthday, July 7th, 1989. Toys R Us. Got my NES with Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, 2 NES controllers, an orange zapper gun, and a copy of The Rocketeer. And then at Pizza Hut, I got a Rocketeer pizza pack that came with like mysterious files and a paper airplane that you could construct of the Rocketeer itself. And I remember the pizza was such a good pepperoni cheesy pizza, and the cheese and the pepperoni was stuck to the under lid, aka ceiling, I guess, of the pizza box, and sat at home. hooking the NES up, playing my Nintendo Entertainment System for the first time. Oh man, eating my pizza. What a cool memory. What a cool, fun time, you know? Man, it's these kind of memories that I have that I cherish as a kid that I hope my kids have certain memories like that now that, 20 years, etc., into the future, they'll be able to look back and be like, oh man, I remember when I did this with my mom and dad, and like, oh, when I beat Breath of the Wild, or when we played Street Fighter 6 throughout the summer, or something like that, fun stuff like that. Cool stuff, cool stuff. My first console was the Wii, cool. I had a ZX Spectrum and Amiga, but didn't think of them as consoles. So nobody heard about the Direct today. Are you saying that while we've been streaming, they announced a Direct? I do see Nintendo advertising Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Talking about Tamagotchi Life, Virtual Boy, but I don't see a Direct. Didn't have its software Wolfenstein Doom Quake 35th anniversary short for February 1st. No. I didn't. That would have been a good one. I'm still not sure, Steak, and everybody here, in which we've got 52 people still here, by the way. Thanks all. I'm still not sure how long will the gaming history shorts go for, In a couple of weeks, 11 days actually, I'll have been doing it for half a year. The goal is 1 year. Could I go longer? Maybe. I need to continue pumping them out, having fun with them. Not doing everything every day, but doing enough. Some days only get one, some days get several. So I still have enough to do if I continue past a year. But if I stop at a year, it's like, you know what? That was an epic 365-day ride. We'll see. Direct conversation might come tomorrow morning. Fire Legend here, 7883. Let's go. First console I owned was a hand-me-down Pong. That's neat. Not long after that, I got a 2600, then a few years later, a Commodore 64. Not very patient. 12 floppy disks worth of Monkey Island is funny to think about. Waiting on Pokemon Coliseum and Paul Gale of Darkness. Hopefully sooner or later. Used to love messing with BASIC on the C64. Now haven't heard any news on that yet. Bye, Tabby. You're going to lunch. See you later. Have a good one. David saying, I was trying to find information on Metroid Dread sales for the first 4 to 5 weeks. I believe you said Dread. So Metroid Dread did 2.74 million in its first quarter, which is 12 weeks and 1 day, 85 days. Nintendo came out and had a sales update for how Metroid Dread did in its debut weekend, in which it did well. But we don't have like first 27 days to compare to, So that's why some people are like, Metroid Prime 4 flopped compared to it. No, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was only out for 27 days. That's not almost 3 whole months. If Metroid Dread came out on October 1st, it would have literally been 3 months. It's 12 weeks in a day compared to 3 weeks and 6 days. Come on now. I also remember Doug Bowser saying Dread sold 850,000 US in October. So if you include Japan and Europe, it's probably around 1.6 to 1.8. Oh, Japan makes up a very little portion of Metroid. Europe, definitely more, though. Mm. What's your favorite Mario related amiibo that you own? Boom Mini asks. Mario related amiibo. I like old school 8-bit pixelated Mario. I think it's super cool. I like the old school Super Smash Bros. Mario with the fire because that's like the first one I opened, period. I guess Mario related includes Mega Yarn Yoshi, right? I like that one quite a bit. I like the Boo. I love the glow in the dark Boo. It's so cool. I have Gold Mario and Metal Mario or Silver Mario unopened. Mm. There are a lot. I love Bowser. I like the Mario Edition Bowser and the Smash Bros. Edition Bowser. Wario is neat. There's a lot. There are a lot of cool Mario amiibo. I have a feeling that my new favorite's probably going to be. Oh, you know what? I really like Cat Mario and Cat Peach. But what I'm. Oh, Cat Mario and Cat Peach. Cat Mario and. Yeah, Cat Mario and Cat Peach. Yeah. Uh, but I have a feeling that the Mario Galaxy one with Luma flying by might become my new favorite. Yeah, I think that's going to do it. Elephant Mario looks good. Oh, Captain Toad looks good. Rosalina with Luma and the chair. I like that all looks good. Both Virtual Boys work with VR modes in other games. Which game do you think will get a VR mode added first? Good question. Like a new VR mode added? So not like playing Breath of the Wild's VR mode in Virtual Boy, but something else new? Hmm. Hmm. Long experience? Like Animal Crossing? Or shorter, more bite-sized experience? You know what would be cool? Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Just being able to play Metroid Prime 4 Beyond in VR. I think that'd be pretty wild. This just in. GTA 6 marketing to start this summer. Still releasing in November. For now. LOL. Imagine it comes to Nintendo Switch 2. What was it like meeting George Harrison of Nintendo? He left Nintendo in 2007. You're in that iconic photo with Harrison, Iwata, and Miyamoto. Yeah, you know it. That's a good one. He was really nice. Really cool. That whole year, those whole few years of being around Mr. Iwata, Miyamoto, George Harrison, Peter Main, Minoru Arakawa were really good times. Yeah, I miss those days. You know, I've had plenty of fun in the days since, with um, Doug Bowser, another great one. Reggie Fils-Aimé, another great one. Those two awesome Nintendo presidents. I'm looking forward to meeting Devin Pritchard. Yeah, I'll always be a fan of George Harrison. And thank you, that is a good photo. FYI, I got the Analog 3D. Came in yesterday. Was up until about 1:30 in the morning messing around with it. That's cool, Roger. That's fun. Quiet Line Gaming. I really like Mario's wedding outfit. Oh yes. How could I forget? I have the Mario wedding amiibo and the Zelda and the Peach Mario wedding amiibo and Peach wedding amiibo in the living room next to my wife's and my uh, me wedding toppers. And then Bowser wedding amiibo is off to the side. Star Fox Zero with VR mode would be cool. Yeah. Imagine GTA 6 comes to Switch 2 before PC. That'd be fun. Did somebody Ocarina of Time remake on Switch 2? You know that? Not yet, but I think eventually. I think eventually it's going to happen. We get Ocarina of Time remake on Nintendo Switch 2. Whew. Well, I think we're going to call it for the stream. I think what's really neat, is not only did we have an almost 3-hour stream, which we'll probably hit 3 hours right before we close up shop, but we had, I think 80 people at most in here at one time, unless if it didn't hit 80 and it hit high 70s. I kind of forgot. I wonder if I could find that out later on. We have 89 or 90 likes. We had a fun poll. Here we are 3 hours in, and we're at 52 people watching this late into the game. We went over all of the sales, and I broke down everything, all of the big stuff, the little stuff, the things in between, the projections, reading the comments, the super chats. We had new members today. The only thing we didn't get to quite, we went over shorts. The only thing we didn't quite get to was we didn't give out a $10 eShop on this amazing stream, which would have sealed the deal. But you know what? As far as I'm concerned, we already sealed the deal on this being a stream to remember. But we got a lot in, and it was fantastic. Thank you all so much for being here. What's that yellow amiibo on top of the shelf? Is that the Mario Cat one? Yeah. That's Cat Mario, and behind him, Cat Peach. I like these two. I like the texture. The texture on them is also really cool. That's kind of my strategy, by the way, in amiibo shelf organizing, is I could have them all front and center left to right, but then I'd only get this many. I stagger them front and back slightly, alternating, and I get to look at more. For me, when I'm walking into the room, I see all. For you, I know it's a little bit of a blocked image to kind of see the back ones, but yeah. All right. Thanks again for being here. If you have some hype to spare, that pinned comment going to that video, hyping it, liking it, commenting on it, I'd appreciate it. But regardless, thanks so much for being here. I wonder what the trajectory would be different if Howard Phillips stayed with Game Master. You never know. There are a lot of what ifs in gaming. Whew. Thank you. Thank you for the generosity. You're all fantastic. Oh, here is to tomorrow. Gosh, can you imagine? We're going to have a fun stream tomorrow and Thursday, regardless. But could you imagine if tomorrow Nintendo drops that announcement of Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase happening tomorrow? That's going to be a hype morning because we're going to be able to discuss that stuff. And then Thursday is going to be hype because we'll have the Direct to talk about and Famitsu sales. And then Friday's going to be hype to wrap up the week, talk about the weekend. I might be on Nintendo Prime's podcast this Wednesday or Thursday, or possibly live streaming the Direct with him, or just live streaming it solo. We'll be on Mike's podcast Friday night. We've got a lot of cool stuff this week, folks. I'm telling you, it's a hyped week. This is one of my favorite streams. This has been a great one. We hit some awesome metrics today. Alrighty. Thank you all for being here. One more time. Have a great